All right, Adam Thacker. Thacker?
Thacker.
Thacker, that's what I've always said. And I've heard other people say Thatcher. And it's
Yeah, people get it wrong so much. Host at shows, and I don't get it.
I'm probably the worst when it comes to getting names wrong. That's why I really don't like hosting. I'm not a comedian that's meant for hosting. That
I'm someone that you don't want to host.
Yeah,
that's
that's like Mike Tobin's asked me to host a few times, and I'm like, yeah, I'll do it because I do anything I'm not good at just to try it and get better. But
yeah, I've hosted a few things, and like it seems to go well, but like I never really like pay attention to like times or anything. It's like I'm focused on other shit.
Well, hosting's a really important part to me. Like, I think that's a big part of the show is your host, especially at like like last night there was I think like 6 or 7 comics, maybe even 8 at Red Flag, and Ronaldo killed it. He did a great job as he always does.
Yeah.
And what's going on? There we go. There we go. Much better. But yeah, he did a really great job. I was very impressed with Ronaldo and how he handled it, because he didn't go up there and just do a set, and like he really controlled the crowd. If somebody bombed, he brought the crowd's energy back up. If someone did really good, he was able to bring them back to neutral for the next comedian to come on stage and have the same as the comedian before them. Like, I know a lot of people that hate following you.
Me?
Yeah. Because one, you kill it and you take it to a dark place.
Yeah.
And I love it because I'm like, now I can know where my line is on my set. Like, I know I can do this joke now because he just did a Jew joke or something. It's like,
well, yeah, I always try to push the line, especially at an open mic. It's like, what do I got to lose, really? Besides, I mean, if I'm going to try something new I'm not sure of, I usually apologize to the comedian after me ahead of time. Just like, hey, man, I'm sorry. And like most of the time, they're like, oh, you're fine, man.
I like coming up after you.
Yeah.
Like, they're like, what? Oh, I was like, because I'm a nasty fucking comedian.
Yeah.
Like, I tell abortion jokes and fucking pedophile and what's the one? Necrophilia has been the one that really hit hard last night.
A lot of people fucking dead people out there. Yeah, I'm always just telling them, like, the crowd, it's like, you got to challenge what they're going to laugh at, of course. And sometimes, like, you got to, like, sometimes you get to it and it's like you're going to piss them off. Like, and I never know in my set when they're going to get pissed off either.
Have you ever had someone walk on a show?
Oh yeah, plenty of times.
Fuck this guy, I'm out of here.
I've had people come up to me after the show and like ask me like to apologize for like a dead baby joke because they lost a kid. Oh. I'm like, well, it's a tragedy, but that joke had nothing to do with you.
Looks like God saved you $400 from an abortion. Now you're like, that's just 2 jokes. See, I'm that guy that's like, because I'm a really actual, like, the guys that I've been building for a new builder, and like a crew came up, and I'm from the South, so yes sir, no sir, and I always say thank you. It just manners. I have them, even though I don't look like it. And at work, especially with somebody that's more knowledgeable and been doing it longer than me, I'm very respectful because I just want to learn from them. And they were like, they found out I was a comedian. They're like, you're a comic? Tell me some jokes. I was like, dude, I've got really bad jokes.
Yeah.
Like, I got really dirty jokes that might piss one of you off because I know one of you go to church. And and they're like, you just seem like such a nice guy to be doing that. You're too nice of a guy. Like, you're almost too nice to be doing construction. And I'm like, yeah, probably, because you guys are assholes. Like, are you ever happy? Like, do you ever have just a good day? You come in and you're like, today's gonna be a great day.
Is that a great place to test new material in?
When I'm with the right guys, like my buddy, when me and Matt work together, me and him, I basically play this game. I call it Too Far. And we've yet to get to Too Far. Now, other people there, yes, but yeah, and he really helps me out a lot with my comedy because he takes it to places I can't set. And the other biggest issue I have with a lot of jokes, like I have my real biological father is gay, and so I can bounce
gold
off,
mine right there.
Yeah, so I can bounce off stuff, but he always like helps punch up a joke with some shit I'm not allowed to say, right? Or my other dad, my stepdad, man, he was my whole life. He's black.
That's you got it made right there.
So, well, I've actually finally tapped in because I've been writing for like 3 years strong, like writing. And then when John Maddie started 7 years ago is when I first started writing jokes here and there, just something I thought was funny. And then when I really got into it about 2.5 years ago, I really started writing. But then I wouldn't perform. I was going watching you guys for like 1.5 years before I ever got up. It was finally somebody, and I don't know why nobody noticed me, but Nate finally called me out at a helium. He's like, "Hey man, I see you. Come to the who comes to every open mic in St. Louis every week?" Man, it's just using the energies, like using everybody else's creativity and getting to know everybody. And
you think it was worth it waiting that long?
No. No, because I've always wrote as a storyteller. Come to find out, I like doing one-liners and shit. So, which actually, I just have a different writing method than a lot of people. Well, actually, my writing method is very similar to a storyteller because I write a storyteller and then I take that 2-page long story and I shortened it down to a sentence. I'm like, where is just the funny?
Yeah.
Where is just the setup and just the funny? And then, which is really hard. So I've got a whole notebook of stuff that I just haven't been able to do that with, but I know it's got some gold in there. And one of them was like I wrote last year or 1.5 years ago on Black History Month. And it was like I was just gonna do a whole fucking 10-minute set at Hag Muhammad's open mic that he ran at the Bridge Bar or something. But yeah, like my stepdad was giving me shit I couldn't say. Like, I was like, "Pops, you know I can't say that. And I'm not even going to try to say that." And he's like, "Oh, just throw an N-word in there." I was like, "Yeah." Like, you do know I'm going to Florissant tonight, right? Like, the music's going to stop when I walk in. It's already going to be tense.
Well, I found like with those mics, it's just like the same as like my gay friends don't get offended at my gay jokes, but like straight people do.
Yeah, they like them.
Yeah.
Like
and it's just
more racial stuff does much better. I've had to change everything at these because they're the mics like the Black Pack and Word Up. Those are the only ones really doing anything.
Yeah.
Funny Bone just opened back up, and I haven't really signed up for them because I was told I wasn't allowed to, and I had to quarantine or something because I was at a Red Flag show like a month ago, and someone tested positive for COVID, and it's like, well, and I had to find this out through all the grapevine, and I was like, what the fuck? Fine, I just won't. I guess there's another open mic on Tuesday, and I spend a lot of money. I'm some say flashy with the cash. I worked in the restaurant industry, so I know how to tip.
Yeah,
I'm fine with tipping $5 a beer during a pandemic. I haven't lost my job.
Yeah, the waiters need it right now.
Yeah, I have no problem. So anytime I go to like the Word Up or Muhammad's or Tonero's. Even if they don't have a cover charge, I usually will throw $5-10. Like I usually pay the Word Up with like a 20. It's only $5. I just keep the change.
I haven't been to that one yet.
It's the best
good one
out of. Yeah, she's been doing it for years. She always has a great the restaurant they have, not restaurant, but the little place they have it. It's too much sauce, wings, like these chicken wings. Oh my god, dude! Every time I go there, I get like this big, huge party bag of it. They're like, "How many do you want?" 50.
Just well, give me all you got.
Yeah. And you're like, all right, it'll be ready in a while. I'm like, I don't even care. I'll be out there doing my thing. And then I always end up leaving and I see it sitting in my seat, digging in it, my steering wheel the next morning, got sauce all over it. But so I guess we better get the who, what, when, and where. How long have you been doing comedy?
Well, are we counting after the corona?
Altogether, when you started,
I started
performing.
January of 2017. That's when I started doing it all the time.
And yeah, you've come a long way because you were about to hit the road before COVID with Barnes and Ronaldo.
Yeah, Ronaldo was going to host, like you were saying last night. He's a great host.
Yeah, him and Barnes, dude.
He's fantastic.
Yeah, you two would be. That's a great show right there. Like
he
all
can,
together.
He can recover any damage I do. Barnes. Like so, it's always nice to. Because like the guy I set it up with, Fat Buddha, one of the managers there I'm friends with, and I pitched him the idea, and he's like, "Get me the comedians." And I was just like, "Okay, I need someone that can do a half hour at the end and can recover from me, and then I need someone who's very likable but can be dirty. They'll open it up, and it's just like this. It's just the perfect combination." And
Yeah, because Ronaldo, as like I've said, there's few and far between the kids that you see come in that are 21. He's 22 or something like that, and you see something that you don't usually find until you see somebody that's been doing it at least 5 years.
well, and the work ethic he puts into it.
Yeah. Yes, that's a big. He's always writing. That's something I said to him. I was like, dude, you're just always fucking writing. And I was like, I write a lot, but I don't. You'll know when I'm writing new material because you won't see my name on any sign up for at least 2 weeks. Like I just take a break but while I'm performing and life and everything, while I perform, I just get little ideas and I just write down a word or two of the idea in my notebook. And then finally I'm like, all right, I got to make some new material. This shit's old. And I like take a week or two off. And that's when I really get into the like heavy writing, breaking it down. I'll take me a couple of Adderall.
Yeah, I usually live my material in a way. So it's like I'm writing as I'm living, and like I try to like let go enough to where I can still be funny, like the material that I know it's going to come out as material, so I just let go and just let it happen. And I found out usually that way the material kind of writes itself.
Yeah, you do something that is rare, but also the best way to do comedy because it's off the cuff. It's right there. Although you have an idea in your head, you're using everything around you at the moment. You're in that. Me, my big thing is I have to prepare so many jokes. Like last night, I had to do 10 minutes. I was prepared for 12 because that's what Gary told me all the way up until literally before I go on. They're like, oh, we'll flash you at 6 and do only 8. I'm like, that's kind of fun. Like I know I'm a one-liner, but like I got it somewhat structured here. Yeah. And I was like, oh, fuck, what I got to take out now? And I had been working on not taking my little list up because 30, 40 jokes to remember that are just quick, boom, boom. That gets a little hectic as a stoner and shit.
Yeah, because my material's a lot of kind of one-lines in there too, but like what I did was just any like the same subject matter. I kind of put it in as like each of them are a 5-minute bit. Like I have one on family, one on relationships, one on work, and then I have just like my opinions on random shit that it's probably going to piss somebody off, so I save that towards the end.
Yeah, that's how I've kind of got mine structured now, because I've got a good 5 solid minutes on like marriage, being married, like just my marriage material, and then just like fun little dumb, the ones I do, like the newest one I came up with is like, been trying to write clean. Some clean stuff because I like to start off my set with a little bit of. I was like, and then I hit them with. I was like, all right, we were just playing 2-man touch. Shit's about to get fucking real. So if you don't like what I'm about, if you don't like this next joke, go outside because it's just gonna get worse. And that's when I go in. But the newest one was no one has a real fear of flying or heights. It's just falling to their death is what the real fear is. And those little ones like that are, I think, are my favorites. Just those little, hey, quick tip. Or abortionists are bad pediatricians.
Do you use that as like a build up to something like dirtier? Like, do you set them up that way?
Sometimes, but then sometimes I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm coming out with the necrophilia joke and abortion joke first, and I'm gonna end on the fucking Jehovah's Witness joke that's really clean. Like that one does the best lately at the mics I've been going to, because Jehovah's Witness is a big thing in the black community. We all know I'm as pink as it gets. But growing up, my family, I guess I was the only pink one in the house. So you'd hear that door knock and me being a hyper little fuck, get up to go answer, like, shh. The Jehovah's Witness, don't answer that fucking door.
You already knew just by the rhythm of the knock.
Yeah. And I remember seeing my mom or dad, they're staring at the peephole and shit, like, shut up. It's like, damn. When I put that, so it really hits very well, and I think I've gotten the most compliments on that one. Biggest one is from Mike Radcliffe and his brother.
Oh, Mike's awesome.
Yeah, Mike, me and him have. I really like Mike. Mike,
just easy to get along with, funny dude,
genuine dude, just a really good guy. That God, he needs to get out of his own brain sometimes. I think though, like you just gotta get out of your head. Come on, just come.
But that's
come
where the
over
ideas come from.
Yes. Well, I've been trying to do sketch shit with him. We've been talking about doing a sketch
I've seen
project.
some of his sketches. He's pretty funny.
Yeah,
as far as just I was wanting to write with him one time, but I don't think we ever like worked it out.
Yeah, see, I've been coming up with a bunch of ideas for sketches, and because he's got the equipment, I guess he says, to do it. Besides, like the camera, which I'm working on the cameras. I haven't found the cameras I want, but I found a new switcher. Like, would they have a TV place, a big, huge board that like switches the cameras, and they now make one. This company called Black Magic. It's what Jamie uses on Joe Rogan. And you can like hook up 4 cameras. So I can have one pointing at you, one at me, one at this angle, and one over here. And I can switch them at any point in time. Like while I'm talking, it can be on me, just like Joe Rogan does, but all in it instead of post of it. Because I don't really do good with post.
So it's live editing?
Yeah, I pretty much, when shit gets hyper, I kind of try to pay attention when people are getting a little excited, and I'll be over here, and you'll see me like turn their knob down a little bit, which is what these zooms are great for. These new zooms that
give an Astro.
Yeah, sure it will. So where was that place that you guys were gonna go do?
Who?
You and Matt Barnes and everybody.
We're just gonna. The plan was to be on the road Thursday through Sunday, because we're the first comics that they've ever they were just usually dealt with musicians, the company. So we're gonna do Thursday through Sunday, and then if we're making them money after a while, they're gonna make it a full-time thing.
Yeah, I think the biggest issue I was finding with these places, like, because I was setting up a show, it was kind of like an open mic showcase in a way. It was a showcase mic, pretty much, because I would allow a couple people to sign up, but you had to be a comedian. It was a comedy show, like an open mic for comedians. Wasn't the new guy. You want to be the dude, the new thing. This was where I was giving everybody that came and signed up, because I would give somebody, like, I was gonna have JC the first night. I was gonna give him 30 minutes, boom, and then there was gonna be like 6 other comedians on there. And I would have like 3 spots that people with random signups, and I booked 3 other ones, and I did that twice. I believe I contacted you.
Where did you do that at?
It was gonna be at Bobby's.
Oh yeah, you did contact me, and then everything shut down, because I think you wanted me to do a show in May, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. It happened to me twice. I was so pissed off, but that was just how I was doing it.
I was excited for that show because I heard good things about the first one.
Well, but they have a decent crowd always. Like anytime you go into Bobby's place, there's always at least 6 or 7 people, and that's more than I've seen at some of the mics I go to. You know, sometimes a lot of times I think of material that I'm trying to write a whole like 5 or 10 minute set of jokes just for comics, some stuff that relates to like inside shit to comics.
So you want a comic kind of thing?
Yeah. So when there's no crowd, there's like nobody at the open mic. I'm just gonna tell shit that the comics will enjoy instead of the same old bullshit.
I've done that before.
Yeah.
Like tell jokes about other comics that they all don't like.
Like I've wanted, like as I get closer, like if it was John, I would do like if there was nobody else there but the comedians, and I went up before John, I'd go do a couple of his jokes just to piss him off and see if he's paying attention.
Me and another comic did each other's jokes one night. Like I went on before him and did his whole set, and then he went on after me as Adam Thacker and did my whole set. And like
an imposter set.
Yeah, and I was talking about whenever I was up there as him, I was like, my best friend Adam Thacker, he's so cool, you know. I could be just started going into it like that, just in the middle of his joke. I just add stuff like that to it, because crowd had no idea who the fuck either one of us were.
Right, the crowd, but the comedians were loving it. Yeah, that was like that roast battle that I put together at Mike Tobin's a while back. There was an inside thing with Quentin and Jason. I guess Nicole, which is Jason's old lady now, had been dating, or at the same time they were like Jason and Nicole were talking while Nicole and Quentin were talking. I don't know their business. I just got to. Well, all of it came out because Jason and Quentin got put up to see. So by the end of it, it's like I only left her because I fucked her first or something. That's how it ended. Like their match. It was great. So all the comedians that knew what was going on were standing up. Kuvar's standing up. Like, and everyone, it turned out so well. Like I remember going outside to smoke a cigarette and answer the phone, and it was the loudest I'd ever heard that place as far as just laughter. And I mean, I've heard it really loud, but that place was packed, and it went.
That place always
well.
is good to get laughing. Like
I love the fucking back door. I don't know why. I guess it's because I pretty much anytime I sign up, I get on.
Anytime that place is packed, you just get laughs.
They love it. Good crowd. Yeah. It's like these other bikes right now. They're tough. Like
when Arena Bar was going on, that was just my favorite. Just to get can I say that? Yeah. My buddy's like, I sent him a video that Nate recorded of me, and my buddy's like, I've never seen you lose your cool on stage like that before.
No, I work with them. At the end of it, like the last 2 or 3, everybody else does what they do at the arena. I figured them out. I'm a one-liner. Yeah. I do bar jokes already. You get the drunk person's attention and be like, Jesus was bad at basketball because he got crossed up all the time. And they're like, wait a minute, my brain is too drunk. Oh, there's And I literally had people, the last one I did there before they shut down, it was, I had a guy who was like, you didn't write those. Some of those were, I was like, yeah, that's all mine. Like, they're all mine. And it's like I can just take my jokes and I don't even have to do a setup with them. They just want that nasty.
Yeah, I did well there every time because it was just like Gary used to always tell me, he's just like when it first started, he was like, "You're gonna do well here," and just because like the stuff the crowd would yell out at people and just like. What I found surprising is they love dead baby jokes there.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're all drunk and coked up and fucking
the bartender that one time, she was just like couldn't even use the register. She was so fucked up.
Dude, one of them was I don't know.
It's like this is awesome. This is exactly where I want to be doing comedy.
Yeah. And once I got used to it, instead of trying to do my actual set, instead of like and just like trying and doing, that's when I could do my. The worst, the line, like my material. That's like
it's a good place to work on stuff because
you can go there and you don't have to worry about getting labeled as these labels that they have, anti-Semitic or whatever, and
which I if someone calls me a Nazi, I'm just like I wish they accomplished so much.
I watched
I wish I was that motivated.
I watched a 13-hour-long documentary not too long ago about everything that happened, and most of the documentary was before Hitler, and how. Everything that Hitler was doing was being done to their people and the Russians already. Like Russia has a day, I believe it's called.
They killed so many Jews, the Russians.
No. The Jews starved millions.
The Jews did it?
Yes.
When was this?
That's why they have Red Russia Day or whatever.
So like
they did it through. They're smart. They're so much smarter.
Did they do that before the Russians executed a whole bunch of them?
Well, they didn't.
Their own little genocide in Russia.
Yeah, they have that Russia Red Day or whatever.
So it's the Russians that died. It's not the Jews.
Yes, the Russians were the ones that like. There was a time from what the documentary said, and you could definitely tell the person that put it together was definitely a bit some anti-Semitic and biased.
Yeah.
But what I really like about documentaries or conspiracies or whatever, you got to show me some facts, and you got to be like, you can find this at .gov. I better go to the.
You need to see citations.
I wouldn't know. Well, just the. I want to if they can source it to the like CIA.gov.
Yeah.
Like that's probably on a favorites of mine because I go check shit out. Like, is that even real?
Yeah.
That's fucking real.
Yeah, the shit you find out when you go down those rabbit holes, especially like all the shit the CIA's released over the years.
Yeah, that's pretty much the main conspiracies I really like, and they're not conspiracies because it's real. Like
Yeah.
it's saying it right there. They spent $78 million in 1 year, and the program went on for 20 on psychic abilities.
Are you talking about like MK Ultra?
No, Project Stargate is this one that came out, and they there's a whole file that they released called Project Stargate, and it's all the scientists, this like neurophysicist and another physicist that they hired to figure out if psychic. You seen Minute Stare at Goat?
Yeah.
That's real. That was a real platoon. That was a real little CIA agency that they had. There was like Pat Price. He was literally able to remote view into Langley CIA's like base, go into a file cabinet and get nuclear launch codes and write them down and took them into the guy, and they arrested his ass. Like, how the fuck did you get these? Goddamn, this is all real. Like, he was eventually murdered after they let him go.
So, is there any information on it afterwards? Like, are they still?
They supposedly shut it down. There was no use for it. But there was like they said Russians had held up someplace with a bunch of some Americans had gotten held hostage, and these guys drew the whole fucking building. And that's the thing, is they'll give them coordinates. They'll sit in a room. They'll give them coordinates, and another agent will go to those fucking locations, and this person just looks at the coordinates and like meditates on it. And then they start drawing pictures of the coordinates of what's around it, and they're like dead on. But like Pat Price had another level, especially people. They say that the Kundalini meditation and yoga or some shit really is good at it. Anybody can do it. They can train anybody. You can go to this college called Bob Monroe, not college, but like a learning center, and pay, and it's called Bob Monroe Institute in North Carolina.
Have they used it for good at all?
Oh yeah, that's what. Well, you know they use everything for bad, but these things we're talking about alien races and bases and all kinds of shit that they could view, because you're not restrained supposedly, and this is all with the physicists. This is the write-up, the scientific shit that the evidence that they found on it. Because in the beginning they're like, we kind of thought this was a joke and we were just gonna go away, but the task you gave us was actually quite extensive, and it took us a lot longer, and it took them years to get into it. And they studied the brain. That's how they learned about frequencies. Your brain, every thought is a frequency, which a frequency is just an energy.
So you're putting it out there, though.
Yes, it's like that secret shit that they talk about. Like, you put good vibes out, and good vibes come your way, because energy is not like magnets. Energy attract like a light. Like, it's not opposites attracts. Like, good equals good, bad.
Yeah.
So you can literally, supposedly, like basically materialize what you want with just thought. The world will give it to you. And like, because they say your thoughts. I was just reading this thing on the new science. I always read the science news that comes out, like the shit I can get about 20-30% of it. The rest of it's like, I don't even know that word.
Yeah.
But the stuff I do get, but the one is our thoughts. They believe there really is an Akashic records. If you know anything about that.
I've never heard of
Akashic
that before.
records, I think, is like a Hinduism thing or something like that, to where it's basically every thought and not all knowledge. If you can meditate and tap into like any knowledge, any answer you want, you can ask, and you can tap it and find it. And they think that there actually is since our thoughts are frequencies, and they are shot into the air, into the stratosphere, is what these scientists are talking about. They're thinking there's actually like a cloud of some sort. They could get caught up there. Like basically like your Apple iPhone has a cloud.
Yeah.
There's kind of like a cloud like that they're theorizing right now.
So where is that cloud located?
You can only reach it through and that's what this whole CIA document is about, is just the actual abilities that we have. And they're like, at the end of it, he's like, if you are going to train soldiers or agents to do this, you must have them prepared, because it is a very scary thing to experience, and you're not gonna really think it's real. But they're like, yeah, and they kept spending money on it for like years they were running that program.
Damn.
Yeah, and I was just like, is this fucking real? And I had to go look it up. I was like, it's real. Like,
how
this
much
is...
like damage are we doing to those abilities by like spending too much time on a screen or?
Yeah, that's the big the conspiracy connected to that you're seeing, that I'm seeing in comments and stuff, is like, yeah, that's what the pineal gland. They know now that we have the pineal gland, and it does have some pretty amazing shit. Like it produces every color on the spectrum or something in there, with helps with that. All kinds of crazy shit with the pineal gland.
You ever hear about like alpha wave state in your brain?
Yeah, that's what you have to do to be able to do this. You have to sync up your brain waves, like your left side and your right side, and if you can hemi-sync them up, which a lot of people use meditation or binaural beats with meditation.
Yeah, I've used those before.
Yeah, that's how you can.
They can take you places.
Yeah, that's what they're talking about, and they've studied that with millions and millions of dollars, and actually had a whole agency of secret agents that were doing it. So it's like, it makes me want to meditate and try to like really tap in, but man, I just don't. I'm so busy all the time. Which I know that's
like
bad.
Meditated and like had an out of body experience, and it like scared me too much to want to do it again.
The scientists are saying. See, that's what he's saying. You have to have these guys prepared before you just throw them into this. You can't, because they have a whole method of how you can like, and supposedly they have like a room that really helps. They built to help amplify it or really. And then they say also like your pineal glands being calcified by fluoride in the water, which is a big.
Which Edward Bernays started that.
I don't know who's Ed.
You don't know Edward?
I'm bad with
like
names.
Everything you see in advertising, he started the kind of like he's the one that like for
the manipulation, like the propaganda.
Yeah, he was Freud's nephew.
Okay.
Edward Bernays.
Yeah.
He convinced towns that they needed fluoride in their water. Went around.
Oh wow.
He's the one that got like.
Yeah, because that's just trash. That's from like a chemical factory, isn't it?
Yeah, it's all aluminum
yeah.
waste. But like, whenever Betty Crocker first made the cake mix, they didn't need an egg. But when they ran tests, like all the women didn't feel like they were doing enough cooking it, so they added an egg as an ingredient just so it felt more natural for them. Like he did stuff like
that. Psychological shit that they dig down into.
Yeah,
that they've been studying. Like this, like really tapping in. You can see it was right there. Woodrow Wilson times, like back in the Federal Reserve Act was signed in, and they had all of that. And you start seeing like they really start studying the brain more, and you see the Substance Control Act. Everyone thinks Reagan was the one that did the drug, like was the big guy on the drugs or whatever.
Yeah.
No, it was actually Woodrow Wilson, because he signed in the Substance Control Act. Basically, they can label anything a substance.
When is he president? Like the 19-teens?
Yeah, the 1913, 1914, and when he left, because he's the one that did sign in the Federal Reserve Act, which is what our Federal Reserve. It's a private company. A lot of people don't know about it. It's like its own entity that actually you can't invest in. Only certain bankers are allowed to own that shit. It's an illegal system. It's definitely legal. There's a book out, and you can listen to it on audio. It's called The Creature of Jekyll Island. The richest people in the world, J.P. Morgan Chase, all the top of the top rich guys came together for 6 days. They like wore disguises, all came to this island called Jekyll Island in Georgia. And this rich person's like, the guy got rid of his maids for 6 days. They locked themselves in a room, and they wrote up this bill, the Federal Reserve Act, giving them the control of the interest of all money. And that's basically where the stem of all our wars have come from. Because if you really just go to the very, who's profiting? Now, who's profiting off of both ends? The people dying and the people killing them and everything.
All the central banks.
The central banks. And it's like, and you can literally trace them back to every single war since
That's
before
why,
religions.
Like, before, like, the 1990s, the Muslims held out on all the central banks. So, we, like, since installing them, that's why we had to invade them.
Yeah, you've seen, what is it?
Now,
Castro, or no.
Now all of them but two have a central bank.
Yeah,
all the countries in there, and it's just like
what was it? Afghanistan, Iraq,
Yeah.
all those didn't have anything. But I kind of fell down a rabbit hole on that whole thing, the Afghanistan, Iraq shit. There's the oldest known artifacts to man is out there. The ancient Sumerians and like the Akkadians.
The weird shit they were doing with the museums when they invaded, like this.
Yes, they had secret teams come in and they took everything because they said they were. But supposedly there was a threat from Saddam saying he had found the Anunnaki's fucking Stargate, which why would we care? Because they claim the Anunnaki is a myth.
Yeah, I've read the 12th Planet, and I don't know.
No, well, if you read the Epic of Gilgamesh. The Epic of Gilgamesh is the oldest. It's the first story known to man. It's how man was created. And you can find every religion from the ancient Sumerians and where it came from, basically from them, and how they stole bits and pieces and they created their own thing. And they basically used, because there was too much knowledge. Yeah. They're still uncovering thousands of these clay cuneiform texts, which we how did they know, for one, to put them in that? This is the first people that created writing. This is the first form of writing. They created it. They created how to record, history. And it's their story is the planet Nibiru comes, their atmosphere, which is what's crazy. This is the oldest story known to man, and they're talking about planets.
And they're talking about, was it mining gold for their atmosphere?
Yes, and gold. Well, everyone's like, you say that, and they're like, oh, they had some change. No, it was the powdered form, like what NASA uses in their electronics and in their visors and stuff, because it helps block all the radiation or whatever.
So they knew that how many thousands of years ago was that?
Before the pyramids,
There's another whole thing where you're like, I don't think the Egyptians really built those.
You dig into. I'm definitely Graham Hancock on that one when it comes to the Sphinx and.
Well, I'm not saying it's aliens. I'm saying maybe it goes back. There is what's he think?
He's the one that's put forth the theory with Randall Carlson, which is the famous astronomer and geologist. Basically that. There was advanced civilizations we've just been repeating, and there was once a technologically advanced civilization and everything, and their theory is a meteor or asteroid hit our planet and wiped everything out, and the only humans that really survived were the ones like today. We have certain places you can't go with tribes and that are there, and they're far back in as far as education and technology. They're still just running around in, loincloths and shit. Like the one Christian dude went there and got killed, and they left him there on the fucking beach, like
cannibals kind of shit.
Yeah. There's you're not allowed to go to these islands. I think it's in the Indies or something like that. It's completely off limits to It's a world thing. Nobody can go there for one. And there's another guy that lives in the Amazon. His whole tribe has died out, and he's all by himself. And he gets spotted every now and again. But we're not allowed to go fuck with these people because, for one, they don't know about the shit. Like the phones. The last time they did that, they became God. These ordinary archaeologists or people just going out researching were now gods. Like the prince did it.
Did they abuse their powers at all as the gods?
No, it was more of a study. It was more like science. They were like, oh shit, look, and they wrote it all up. And I think the prince did it. They left the Prince of England or one of that king of England. Back in the day, they went to some fucking place and they gave a picture of the prince or something like that. It's a crazy story. And they praised him because they found this picture of this.
Is that their first picture they've ever seen?
Yes, and they thought he was a god. And when he showed up with more pictures, they flipped their fucking lid. And that's the whole story with that is just it blew my mind when I heard it. I was like, wait a minute, this is the oldest story known to man. And then I looked it up on Google. So let me Google it, and they're like, oh yeah, it's real. It is actually the oldest known religion, but we're. Shh.
Do you know the name of the religion?
I've looked at I think Ananite. It's not. They believe in many different. They were beings. They weren't.
They're the ones that believe that the moon was created because, like a collision.
No, which that's a gnarly one.
Yeah.
The moon. Have you ever looked down that rabbit hole?
Yeah, that.
Like how the weird. They've never found another planet with a moon that like orbits that's stuck in our orbit, like always faces the same way, and there's a lot how every crater, not wide but depth, is the same. It's like it hits something that's hard.
Yeah.
They blew up a bunch of TNT there back in the day, and it rang for like 9 hours, like a bell, like it was hollow. And yes,
they have any sound recordings?
Yeah,
of it?
they NASA, and this is all real. Like the conspiracy, like that's the only stuff I get into is like the stuff that's like, oh, that's real. Like that's oh shit. Then I go down like an all-nighter. That's like I gotta look at every scientist and TED Talks that was talking about it. So I end up watching some dumb fucking guy with a fucking recorder like this in the back of fucking Harvard's.
I watched like the GoPros go up at the weather balloon, like 115,000 feet, stuff like that. Where
Are you a flat earther?
Me?
Yeah.
No. Like I would look at it as like I've never been that high, so I don't fucking know. Like I've never been high enough to see it for like maybe it could be something like.
I haven't been that high physically to
that's what I mean.
To let myself get down on that rabbit hole.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'd want to see it for myself before I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna, cause like all the pictures that come in from NASA are like CGI images.
Yeah.
So it's like that to me is shady. But like I'd never seen it for myself, so I'm just like it hasn't affected my life either way, whether it's flat or round or whatever.
Yeah, the firmament or whatever they call it. Holding us in. Which there is, like I said, I guess I did look in. I allowed myself for like, I think I was just letting videos play, and me just watching. Because if you watch actual real stuff like MK Ultra or Project Mockingbird or any of that stuff, they end up throwing you on some flat Earth shit. Yeah. And as I'm doing stuff,
well, and like the Flat Earth Society and shit like that, they're ridiculous. Like to me, it seems like they're there on purpose just to make flat people who like would question anything look retarded, like they do with a lot of different groups.
There's that one really rich flat earther that bought that little some kind of machine or something that can actually tell if there was a curve. It was like $10,000 or something. I remember watching that video and was like, huh. And he found out there was a curve. It showed that there was a curve.
What is it, like 8 inches for every mile squared?
I don't ever. I've flown a lot, and I used to always sit at the window because I was a dumbass when I was young. I learned you want that edge seat so you can just get up and go to the bathroom whenever the fuck you want. Because you always get stuck next to a nun with a mustache that falls asleep on your shoulder. That's happened. And the guy that was on the other side of me is like, we're the safest ones on the plane. If we go down, are you fucking kidding me? I'm like 13.
He's like, you want some comfort? Here you go. We're the safest. I've done the math.
It was the first time I seen a woman with a mustache. I was only like 12, 13 years old. I was flying by myself.
And that stuck in your brain?
Stuck in my brain because she was in a nun outfit.
Never forget your first time.
It was, burned in there. What was I watching the other night? Old school movie with a nun in it. And, Ladies Man. Have you ever seen that?
It's been a while, but I remember that, yeah.
He gets a new gig on the radio station, and the nun's like, yes, I'm going to go take a position of missionary. And it's a Christian radio he gets hired for, but he talks all dirty on his other one, which got him fired. And he's sitting there sweating, and she says something about, I'm going to Bangkok. And it's like, he's like, all right, lady, let me tell you something about these two whores, or skanks is what he always says. And she's like, she died. You see an ambulance, and she dies of a heart attack. He's fired. It was wasn't that a Saturday Night Live sketch? Or
was it based off of?
I think so. Leon Phelps with the afro. I want to do some sketch. I've got a bunch of ideas. I came up with one about, for one, I want to do, parents ever like buy a lottery ticket or something like that? Or you guys ever as a kid have that conversation like, what if you hit the lottery? Like, what would you buy?
Yeah.
You know that one? I want to do like that, show that, and then show a rich family that's like, what if we were poor? And they're like huddled next to the oven trying to keep their mansion warm. Like, what if we were just peasants, you know? We would only have 1,000 square foot rooms.
Yeah, just like ridiculous examples each time.
Like I want one where a white guy and a black guy are together, and the white guy can't say the N-word, so the black guy says it for him all the time, or shit that he can't say.
Like it's a job.
Yeah,
Like,
and then he goes to an interview, or then it reverses. The black guy goes to the bank and is like, "Yeah, I want to apply for a loan," you know, and gets pulled over, and the cop walks up, and the white guy pops over.
That'd be a good idea. I think it would pass today's filters.
Yeah, I'm really not. I'm not. I don't think I'm gonna get famous. I don't think I'm gonna swing hammer for the rest. I don't want to swing a hammer for the rest of my life. Believe me, but
I had some sketch ideas. Like, I was gonna do one that it's supposed to be like an advertisement, and it's a guy's talking about like, it's kind of like hinting around about how much he misses his foreskin, and like he has like all these examples, but it comes down, it's like really an advertisement for peach duct tape, because he uses that to replace, like, he has missing foreskin syndrome.
Dude, that's gold. That's gold. You thought about that one.
Yeah. He's like missing foreskin syndrome, and he's going, yeah.
Watch, when I release this, I'm gonna have Mike Radcliffe be like, dude, we need to do that. I'm like, yeah, I've been telling you, I got 5 acres. I've got a 2-story fucking garage out there. I've got another like 20 by 20 shed out here. I've got this. I've got all kinds of places, and I'm a carpenter with plenty of lumber. I can build any kind of set or anything we need. Like, and now, I can build anything. I could build a whole actual set that we could turn into different rooms. Like, that's easy. A lot of people don't. Like, when you look at it, and that's all you need. You don't have to be in Hollywood. You just have to have interchangeable. People have gotten smart. Everything, you can have everything fold.
You got to market it well, too, as far as what people are looking for today.
Yeah, that's where just having multiple. Look at how everybody else did it. Dave Chappelle did it. He has a team. He had a team of writers like, what's the Donnell Rawlins and fucking Charlie Murphy.
Yeah, we should be doing something like that in St. Louis, especially right now whenever we got all this extra time.
Yeah, but I want it to be based towards the kind of people like us that enjoy our comedy, because they have them. It's just I'm just not into the Facebook approved, the social justice warrior approved shit, because I don't pay attention really to all that.
Yeah, I don't pay attention to, that's a waste of energy.
I have a Twitter, and I may have posted twice. I don't know how. I don't get it. Like,
that's the same on Facebook. It's like I think I've posted like 2 or 3 times.
I do a lot with this one, and every now and again I'll get up there and stir the pot a little bit when it was political, because I don't like either side.
Yeah, I'm the
I
same
think
way.
they're both stupid. I follow politics, and it's just like, look at these
I don't follow it though.
Oh no, I'll check policies, and my dad really follows stuff. He's Democrat, but me and him get into heated arguments, and he'd be like, "But the I'm like, I know they are pieces of shit. I agree with you on that, but the Democrats are doing it too."
That's what, no matter who I talk to that's on either side politically, I always end up in an argument with them. And like, the thing is like, I'm not trying to like say I'm wrong or right the whole time. I'm just like, do you see what you're saying? Like, can you hear yourself?
Yeah, I don't. They don't get it, and it's like, okay, they're like, oh, Trump and all these, and I'm just using that as an example because that's the most freshest thing. Biden hasn't had, he hasn't fucked up enough yet. Besides getting rid of the fucking checks, getting rid of a private, one-payer health care, like we were gonna have, all kinds of shit that actually he's done. But we don't, give a motherfucker a chance, I guess.
I haven't even paid attention. He's been doing all that.
He had like 2-3 stacks of executive orders that he had to go in and sign, and that was to basically undo everything Trump has done. Undo it all, basically, is what he went and did. So I don't know how many what number Trump hit on executive
Why do
orders.
presidents have that much power as far as to change that much?
Dude, because we
Especially
go off
so
of
fast.
a system. We're on a system right now that they had to use a motherfucking feather to write it down. All right? That's what we're running off of. That's almost basically what our education system is structured around.
Yeah.
Like, eventually you got to replace the structure. You got to either, if you want to keep the house, that's fine.
Our
It's a
education
historical
system,
thing.
yeah.
Pick the house up, put some new foundation in there.
Yeah.
We are technology. We don't need politics, for one. We don't need the president no more. We need what are issues, and we need to have a where it's completely wide open, everyone can see it. And as we're taking our morning deuce in the morning, it's an app that we can poop. This is what I vote. No or yes. Yes, no. You know, what should the age of drinking be? 18, 21, none.
I would say being able to like clearly have the information about your area, community, and being able to vote on that like quickly would be
Instead
more.
of like this one person like, all right, I vote this senator in, and he's gonna supposedly, you know,
Yeah.
he's gonna
speak
my
for
way.
me. Yeah.
No. That's just the way
He's
the
gonna
rich
speak
and the,
for like half the place there, and the other half's gonna be pissed off. And
And they
like the two-party system is just, it seems like a way just to keep people fighting.
yeah, like I think a big person. I don't know if you know who it is. Have you ever watched Jimmy Dore?
No.
On YouTube. He's got a little YouTube channel, and he calls out everybody, like on both sides. And I really like it, especially lately. Like he fucking basically lost that AOC chick. I don't know if you know her.
I've heard of her.
Yeah, she's spicy. But
I got
she's
friends.
always the one that's
I got friends on the right who seem afraid of her.
Yeah, this is because
It's hilarious to me.
She has some radical views when it comes to conservative ways. Yes. It's like I work with some conservative guys, and they've really been in a bitch mood because they're Trumpers, and they lost. And I think one of them was a Q guy, so that he's really been down to the dump. Like, don't do
Does he
shit
still
with it.
trust in the plan?
What's the plan, dog?
Yeah.
But so he that I don't even get the cue. I went down it. I tried to, and I was like, "Y'all shitting me, right?"
Like there's too much, like not enough. It's too vague for me to be like, okay, what is like?
Yeah.
Who am I looking at here for answers? I don't know what you're talking about.
They pissed me off because the only legitimate little the one, because every conspiracy that's got any kind of has something, has a little bit, and yes, the pedophilia problem.
That's what got them emotionally
Yeah.
involved in it,
Yeah.
and then kind of they're like, once they went that far, they're like, I'm too connected. I can't admit I'm wrong.
That goes down to the pedophile thing is a real thing though. It goes back to the Larry King was a Republican that was taking these boys from a place called Boys Town out in Idaho or something like that, and it was a boys' home.
I've never heard of this.
Yes, it came out. It was this video that BBC and Disney had this documentary crew, and they were putting together this series called The Conspiracy of Silences, and they went and dug all into this, and it was all about the conspiracy back then. There was this thing called Johnny Gotcha. And this boy that supposedly had been kidnapped and used in sex trafficking ring, and the mom was after him, and they found out the dad supposedly sold the kid to these fucking politicians. But anyways, that goes from here nor there. Supposedly these boys were getting picked up by these politicians for these like. I mean, we're taking the less fortunate out from their boys' home for the weekend, but really they were taking them to these parties and getting them all drugged up and using them for.
So were they like saying, "Hey, we're gonna adopt you," shit like that?
No. They were like Big Brother clubs. Like we're taking them for the weekend.
We're mentoring them.
Yes, we're their mentors. But really, they were just going to get them all fucking strung out, and then basically they'd send them back. These kids would take a week to get back straight, and then they come pick them back up, and. The Larry King was the black guy that was a Republican back in the day, and he didn't even go to jail. The kid, the people, they got a bunch of people to take away their statement. All the basically victims, the witnesses and the victims, they got them to recant or everything. And the ones that won it, they put them in jail. Saying they lied. but they had multiple. So this whole documentary was about to be released. That they
So
put together.
like perjury, they got him
Yes, yes. They got these kids that were from this boys' home that were like, yes, I did do that, and they did this to me, and they told the whole nine thing, and it was just so grotesque that no one could really believe it. And
so what if?
But one kid was like, no, I even went to the White House. They even took us to the White House. I can tell you could give them a layout of the White House.
Did they have any pictures or anything of him at the White House?
No. This was like they would take these. This is like a big thing.
Oh, so it wasn't like a public, like a school thing at the White House?
No, it was like at night. They were taking them to the.
Who was president
parties.
then?
I don't know. I don't know. Like I couldn't. I'm bad with that time and geography's bad for me. Names like I'll be like, oh, whatever the name is, but the motherfucker did it. Yeah. But yeah, he So anyways, they were getting ready. They put all this evidence together, which was legitimate evidence, all the shit about it. And they were about to release the documentary that night. It was about to release. Well, they happened to review it, BBC and Disney. Disney completely canceled and got out of their fucking end of the with BBC. And BBC pulled it and wouldn't let it air the night it was supposed to air. And it was like, you can look it up on YouTube or whatever. But that was one of a legitimate one. And we have like today, 280 something people in our government with high positions of power. A lot of them are the ones we don't even get to vote on, that have some kind of sexual assault or allegations against them towards children. And it's like, when I noticed that, because I Googled that, I was like, well, let's just see how many politicians there are out there. And it was like, and it's both sides, Democrats and Republicans, that have had allegations or people have claimed. And it's like, that's a lot. There is an issue with it. There has always been an issue with the top elite, the politicians, and that it's been an unspoken thing. But recently, Epstein was just he was one little pimp. This is a big world. There's a lot of pimps out there, you know. Pimp hand just got a little weak, you know. Somebody's replacing him.
Do you think he killed himself?
Fuck no. I think I've always said you haven't shown me enough proof that he's even fucking dead. Like I bet you that his boy William Barr, fucking his dad, William Barr's dad is the one that got Jeffrey Epstein his first job at this college, because it was like his son he never had, basically. And they expected William Barr to actually recant himself and recuse himself from that whole thing, from any of the investigation. And he took the whole fucking head of the investigation. That right there is like, that's
conflict of interest.
Yeah, huge conflict of interest. And supposedly there was people in the prisons that had phones that were like getting on forums that were talking about the shit that was weird shit that was going on in the prison. And they had forums. And I mean, come on, how many coincidences do you have to have? Now, him hanging himself or being murdered, I don't think he was murdered. Everyone else is like, that's the conspiracy. No, the conspiracy is that motherfucker's alive. Like,
yeah,
he is alive. And that's why they got Ghislaine. Like, where'd he go?
You think it was safer to say he was dead? And that's why?
He had too much shit on everybody. That's why they haven't released anything. And that one chick.
So no one's been charged besides his
no, they've just recently Ghislaine. And no, some dude in France got arrested. That was a billionaire that they've been looking for. Some here and there, but they haven't released like there was a lot of shit, a lot of people involved into that like the Netflix documentary. That ain't shit compared to some of these. That's why I say conspiracies are so believable. I've been working on a bit. Like, you want to know why they're so good? And people have they've gotten so popular, and so many people are conspiracy theorists, because the quality of these videos are fucking amazing. Like, these people put in some legit hours, and they produce some very high quality shit that's hard to deny. That's why you have so many flat earthers right now.
Yeah, how many conspiracy theories like change anything though? As far as
Right. But the only basis that the Q shit had was Julian Assange's release on WikiLeaks when they had the Podesta emails. That shit was sketchy, but they talk in code. Okay, hot dogs, pizza, I don't fucking know. That's no one there can confirm that that's what the language was, and no one will because it's a national security threat. Those are the conspiracies I like.
Yeah.
Anytime they label something a national security threat, like we had something like a month or two ago, these diplomats that were all around the world that got these, them and their family got a bunch of high, I think it's a sonic wave fucking pollution from an old Soviet weapon that they used to
I remember
have.
that in Cuba was one of the places.
Yeah, and China's and stuff like that. Well, they labeled their health records a national security threat, and they won't release it to their doctors so they know what the fuck's going on to help these fucking victims, these diplomats, and their kids that were just bystanders in the car, I guess, when they were fucking hitting these people with the shit, people that were around them. Those are the things I'm like, what the fuck? Like, that's an asshole move for one.
Well, is there a security threat or a health threat that they
won't? No, it's because it was probably us that was doing it. It's always us. Like they're like, oh, Sudan bombed them kids in Syria. No, we fucking bombed them. We gave them the bomb. We're like, you want to see what that do?
We sold them the bombs very cheap.
Yeah. We're like, and if you just point it right over there.
What's the joke? Like, you want to see where our next war is? Look who we're funding now.
Yeah, and then like, well, we came to find out with the Afghan papers that the Washington Post released that the whole Afghanistan war was a lie, was a bullshit lie. Even the colonels and admirals that were over there.
But we got so many opioids from it.
Yeah, we definitely got a lot of drug addicts out of it.
We ruined a lot of people's lives.
Yeah, and then we still are. That's still a fight that's going on. I think they've gotten one person. Was it Purdue Pharma? I think they got.
As long as people keep hurting their backs, we're gonna need those opioids.
Yeah, but you see now that it's a whole nother. It's a pandemic now.
Yeah.
Back in the day, it was a pandemic, and these people were. Today, they're sick, and they need help. Yeah, but that's because it affects the white community. When that shit was out there, and you had what's his name? Was it Reagan on TV? We found something 100 times stronger than cocaine. Yeah, yes, Jimmy, that stuff we were snorting last week in the fucking inaugural or whatever. All you need, and he took a box of baking soda, and a bottle of water. He's like, and all you need is heat, and they make crack. It's 100 times stronger. He sold that shit on TV.
He's like, doing an infomercial.
Yeah, he's like, and all you gotta do is add heat. Yeah, just think if it was
but
Billy
wait,
May.
there's more.
Yeah. Billy May's here. Did you like to get skied that fuck out? Billy May, that's what he died from, wasn't it?
What bothered me about Reagan is people trusted an actor.
Yeah, a bad actor.
Yeah.
Check his shit. He wasn't a good actor. Yeah. I mean, anybody from back then.
It's like, don't mix Hollywood and like GC? That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what the political party is.
Yeah, there's just so many fucking, like the solution with the COVID thing. Did you see how bad they fucked that up? Did you pay attention to it all?
As far as what?
As far as the relief and the money and where it all went. We are now, it put us, I think we're up to like $9 trillion more into debt. Okay, do you know where that money went? Do you know just the first bill could have given every tax-paying citizen like 22 grand, but instead they gave like 4.25 trillion to the banks, which they're going to leverage out. So the banks, to keep the banks whole. So
is that the like give us better loans? Basically?
They are not giving shit out right now. So follow me. This is what it is. All right, the basis was we had a pandemic. They wanted everyone to stay the fuck home, right? And they were like, just stay home. We're going to take care of you. All right, we're going to have to lock this bitch down. And everyone's like, all right, but, I owe the bank for my mortgage and my car loan and my credit cards and my electric. And the electric company's like, yeah, they owe me and I owe the bank. So the politicians come together and like, well, everybody is going to need money to pay for their loans that they have, their mortgages, because nobody owns anything today. It's all, we're a debt-based society. And they're like, yeah, let's give money to the banks. And they're like, what? Yeah, let's just keep them stable. They're already stable. We're already giving them. And before COVID, we were already loaning them like overnight each night trillions of dollars to keep their books equal. Because each night, at the end of the day, each day, they have to be able to have everything out, everything they have loan wise and out. They have to have in their books the value of it. And when it's off, which a lot of the banks were borrowing trillions from the feds each night. It's called the repo market.
So was it every bank or was it certain banks?
It was certain banks, but most of the big ones had hit them up at some point in time this past year. And I mean, we're in a 13-year-long bull market, which has never happened, 14 or whatever. Never happened. It's usually every 7 to or 4 to 7 to 8 years. If you look at a graph on the stock market, you see every 4 to 7 years in history, it usually goes up and then it corrects itself. It makes a pretty kind of a bearish, like a gnarly little dip. Yeah. And it goes back up. And that's a correction because stocks get so overvalued. They're like the price of these companies and what they're offering isn't really worth that. And they get overpriced, so they have to make a correction. And that's what they're usually called. We never will. And when it's going up through that from that 1 year to 7 year mark, as it's going up, it's called a bull market. And you have a bear market, and those last, hopefully we recover quickly from them within a year, or you just gotta kind of the feds raise the rates a little bit, people pay a little bit more on that shit.
And when we're in a bear market, that's when people don't invest as much in like labor or products, and
you usually see
prices go up.
Bear market is the initial, that's the pregame to a depression. Okay, like you have to have a certain amount of length that the market's going down and it's losing value.
And that's when you pump money into the economy.
So the feds basically think of a handle. The feds crank up that interest rate so that they can so now the people that take out loans are going to pay more in interest, so they make more. And
how much physical money would they need just to actually sell a loan? Is there like a percentage because they don't keep all that money in the bank?
Yeah. Okay. So they only need to keep, I think it's, I don't know if they changed the regulations, but at one point in time it was you could give them $10,000 and of gold, and they give you $10,000 paper, and then they were supposed to hold that gold. And then they changed the rules and deregulated, and it made them, they can now take your money. And it's theirs. They give you the IOU, which is a dollar bill, the money, what we call money today, which is actually really just debt. It's a Federal Reserve debt note that we owe. That's what money is. It's just hey, this is a reminder. People don't realize
fiat currency.
Yes, the fiat currency. That's in ours now that oil is very volatile. And the housing market has crashed because they gave out subprime mortgage loans. Our debt now is the only thing that can back our value. The only thing that's really keeping us afloat is the fact that it's a world currency. Everybody that does any kind of trade worldwide, import, export, their currency, their country's currency is converted to the American dollar first to make that
Isn't
purchase.
Places like China and Iran taking steps to get off the U.S. dollar as a reserve currency?
I believe Iran's on the gold standard still, and that's a big reason we fucked them up.
Yeah.
And same thing with Afghanistan.
Anyone who doesn't play by the rules.
Yeah, and was it Gaddafi?
Oh yeah, that was fucked up.
Yeah, like what we did to them, and he wanted to stay on the dinar or something like that.
And he built like the world's biggest aquifer, and he was actually, I mean, as a dictator, you can only do so much good, but it seemed like he was doing more good than what came after him.
Well, I mean, not to get back on it, but look at what Hitler did to Germany. Okay, you would have to, if Germany before Hitler became in power. Germany was in such a bad crisis. They were printing off $10,000 notes, and they were getting wheelbarrows full on payday, and they would run to the bread store just to be able to get a loaf of bread because they were worried the next day the price would have moved up so much because the valuation of their currency was getting so low. When Hitler took over, the plan was Churchill was like, I never want Germany to ever be. he wanted them to always stay a third world country. Germany was always going to be a third world country, is what he was their plans. And what he did and came in and just no one else has ever turned a country that had an economy like theirs around the way he did. Yeah. You know, they went from dirt, like African fucking third world country to one of the most actually today still most technologically advanced country out there.
Imagine if they would have put that hate towards like the British instead of Jews, what they would have accomplished. Like the people who really tried putting them down.
But the documentary I watched was like, the Jews say was biased, and what Hitler did was fucked up. It's eventually. It's
we should all like be in agreement on that. Like, anytime we talk to them, like that should be our baseline. Is like that's fucked up.
I grew up with a black dad and a gay dad. Like I don't get to see colors besides the rainbow flag. Like, that shit don't bother. Do you got good weed? Do you want to kick it? Then that's all I care. Like,
do you have a sense of humor?
Yeah. Like, you like comedy? Are you funny? You cool? Like, that's what I was trying to explain to that Nicole chick that said I was appropriating culture with my hair.
For your dreads?
Yeah. And she's like, I don't think white people should have dreads. And I was like, she's like, well, it's not your culture. I was like, we just had a 2-hour-long conversation that I grew up. I was the white one in all the group, my friends, my family.
I'm fitting in right now.
Yeah, I was like, that's in my culture. And I was like, and you go to the beach where I'm from as well, where I spent a lot of time in my life. I'm a dime a fucking dozen. Yeah. Like, there's a bunch of white guys like me that are dreadhead hippies. I'm like, and if I was to brush my hair out after every time I went surfing in the fucking ocean, which would be 3 or 4 times a day, like if the waves were good and it was like lunch at work, fuck yeah, I got an hour, I'm gonna go catch some waves. Before, we usually got up at like 4 in the morning because the tide would come in early. You go catch those waves, go to work, lunch, waves, after, and I'd have no hair, I'd be bald. And so I just let it dread and I just kind of kept them for the longest time. That was
whose culture are you appropriating?
Well, I broke it down scientifically. See, that's how I did. I was like, actually, the brain is the most important organ in the body. And
start there.
I was like, the hair matting up and being dreads is an actual self-defense mechanism for the most important organ on your body. And before there was a comb, everyone had dreads. Like that, everyone's culture was dreads before the guy that created a comb. And I'm sure plenty of people are like, who the fuck gave this guy a cone? Because, and who thought of that? It was like, you know what? I want fucking
I don't want dreads.
Yeah, I was just like, I don't like this.
Yeah. Watched a good movie the other night. Have you ever seen the 1975 Rollerball?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Back in the day. Did you watch the 90s one with like LL yet?
I haven't watched that.
You gotta watch that one too.
Well,
Kiana?
like that one, like just the whole like what's going on now. There's a line in there because it's like 50 years after corporations replaced the government. Mm-hmm. And he's like, it seemed like there was a time where people had a choice between all the nice things and freedom. Yeah. And they chose comfort.
Yeah, the that's a big thing. Like, a lot of people don't realize that when we committed treason and became a domestic terrorist of our own country, back on our forefathers, you know, that whole war we had, we did have a whole war over taxes too. And you know, we pay the people that fucking were throwing that tea in the water and got killed for taxes. If they knew how much we were paying in taxes right now.
Before 1913, how many taxes were there?
Oh, that's when the whole game got flipped around too. But that was a slow build up.
Yeah, and then they added in Social Security, Medicare. Yeah,
well, that's a free interest-free loan. A lot of people don't realize. It's like Elon Musk basically doing the I'm gonna have this product eventually. Go ahead and pre-order it with $100, and 1 million people pre-order it with a $100 deposit, like they did with the Cybertruck. And he's like, it ain't gonna come out for a couple of years, but go ahead and put that down. And he got a couple $100 million.
Yeah.
Interest-free loan right there. Like it's smart move.
So it's good. So you're saying Social Security is good marketing?
No, it's actually no. What they did we're now that's a system that they put in place that they didn't see the monster that it was going to become, and they weren't paying. They didn't have a very good economist in there or banker in there that was like Reagan was the one that really fucked us. Reagan was the biggest one that fucked us as far as
I thought Nixon did.
No, we had Reaganomics is what they call it. Trickle down economy, the trickle down effect, where they give the tax breaks and the money and the bailout. If you want to label us, we're a plutocracy, a socialist plutocracy. If you want to really put us down, we always bail out the fucking banks and the corporations every time. Since the railroads, back when like the Carnegies owned the steel and everything, like the 30s, gave them the first bailout, government bailout. That was our first form of socialism. It's because we're not getting it. Because we go off of Reaganomics now to where we're going to give it to these companies and they're going to invest it in their companies. It's going to expand because they're job creators. No, these rich people aren't the ones that create jobs. That's what they don't realize. They guess somebody creates an idea for a company, for a service or an item that's useful.
Wouldn't the market create jobs?
No, it's the consumer. The consumer. You can't have jobs. You can't have a market unless you got somebody to buy the product.
Yeah.
So more people that can afford to buy the product. That's why there's a good argument for $15 an hour, and there's a good argument not, because when you look at the way corporations have monopolized all the product in the world, basically small restaurants are still not, they're not paying bulk, they're paying fucking premium prices just like we are. And now they're having to split it up into just enough portions to make a small margin of profit, just like any small business owner would. And that's how they've set things up to where they're just like if you look at these companies as citizens, just like us, they're getting fucked because they don't have.
Aren't they technically people?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at it, they said the money or the freedom of speech is a person supposedly. That's how we have the ability for lobbyists to throw billions of dollars at politicians every year.
The line between corporation and government seems to be getting blurred.
Yeah, where's my phone? For life.
Yeah, that line, just everything
there is
okay?
No line. Oh yeah, she's just getting off. The problem, and that's what me and Zach Bukovich, Lil Bukovich, he's a big social. He preaches a lot about Carl, which I didn't know. He's actually an intelligent little fucker for being 22, 23. When it comes to that, I wasn't expecting him to be ready for that argument because I was like, I'm a capitalist. I went to college originally. I dropped out. I'm not that smart. I wanted to be something to do with Wall Street. I wanted money. I was always poor as a kid, and I was like, who makes the most money? Those dudes in New York. I want to be one of those dudes in New York. And so the person that when I was signing up for college, they're like, well, then you probably want to take some business and some economics and some civics and when I was taking those classes, for one, it's bullshit. They don't teach you finances there. I learned more you learn finances by just watching finance, is paying attention to finances. You got to pay attention to the market if you want to understand it. Again, that's the only way you can. Like I don't think I have enough I don't have enough time watching the stocks that I watch to be able to try to trade stocks. So Bitcoin, I think they just had a big dip too. So like that shit's made me so much money. I've put like, but anyways, I would go there and I learned that our politicians and lobbyists in the market, these big time guys that what they're doing is there's this revolving door basically. All right, they're getting into office, they don't get reelected. They get a lobbying position with Raytheon or Lockheed Martin or
they get paid a lot to say speeches.
Yes, they get all these speech fees, and then what happens is 4 years go around, boom, they go up for election, they get put into the election, and now everything that company had paid them these millions of dollars to do those 4 years that they were lobbying for them because these companies use them because they're like, all right, they've been a politician, they know other politicians. They have connections. So what they do is they now hire these guys that aren't elected anymore to go in there to their buddies that they made while being politicians and other lobbyists, because they're all that way now. And they're just like, hey, we're going to give you this. They're like, per person in our elected official, there's like 100 or something lobbyists being paid over like $100 million a fucking year.
So how much of what they push is in our laws?
Everything.
Everything.
That's why they got a big chunk of the bailout. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
The lobbyist group got bailout funds. Yeah, they were like, because our politicians are like, well, they're the ones that make all the laws. They're the ones that do all the research for the corporations, because the corporations run the think tanks, and it's all set up to this system that's like, once you really just break it down, you got to pull all that bullshit out, and once you get to the basics, you're like, oh, this is a pyramid scheme. This is all this is. This is a fucking Ponzi scheme called the fiat currency is for one, the biggest.
So what comes next? Because we can look at it as capitalism, socialism, communism. That's all failed.
History. We've never done. I don't think we've ever done communism or real today's definition of socialism.
I say like whatever they've done so far, it hasn't.
Well,
been
they
working.
always labeled the Russian Stalin and everything, which that wasn't. That was more dictatorship that was running that. Socialism, because me and Zach got into that argument. I was like, fuck, shut up. Let's just look it up. Let's just fucking sit here and educate ourselves. And that's what we did. And it comes down to it. They have a good theory. Because my argument was, I believe in capitalism because I'm a capitalist because I want to have the right to trade and to be able to compete in the free market. Is what I've always been taught about capitalism. It's not what we have. I've never thought we had capitalism. That's just what they label our corporate plutocracy socialists.
Well, I see it as all those things have like. I'd like to see a new idea that it's maybe a combination of them all, to where it's like it works out for everybody. Like we're taking care of those at the bottom, while not letting people like at the top get too big.
Yeah, it's something I always ask. I've asked a lot of the guys. You know how much you've ever paid attention to how much our government alone spends in the military each year?
Yeah, that's like what the next 12 countries combined there.
Yeah. Well, this year we just passed. It was almost $800 billion. That's the budget we're allowed to see. There's also a black budget that not even all the Congress gets to see. Only the Pentagon is allowed to have it, and they're up to like, I don't know, $22 trillion that they can't account for now. Last time they did an audit, a plane hit the building supposedly, but they couldn't find any remnants of the plane. We're not gonna go down that one.
Well, my whole thing with like a new system is, let's not have like a mass genocide or anything, a whole bunch of people dying when we change over to a new thing.
Oh yeah, that's my.
Let's not have a war to make it happen.
I want to take every. Tell the military, all right, military, you go sit the fuck down. Shut your fucking mouth. Just shut up, sit down. And then we're going to take all that money that each country puts towards their military to kill humans. And then what we're going to do, we're put in a big ass pot.
Well, now it seems more it's like an influence in humans as the going, like a direction.
As far as more people? Or
like in like social issues.
Yeah, definitely, because of technology has connected us.
I would say that's where more of their money goes in the actual fighting, as far as like influencing.
Yeah, well, the fighting comes down to just dirty greed, and like that's the big thing is we spend $800 billion to kill another human. Now, what if we took every government's all those funds, put them in a pot, and we got the smartest engineers, scientists, chemists, physicists in the world. And we put them all in a room, and they're like, with that money, and like, you got a year. What can you do with it?
Yeah. What's their goal?
What could change fucking history? Change take us to the next step. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of resources.
Well, I would say we would have to evolve ourselves, not just our technology, like us as people, how we treat others. And
are we ever going to be able to get involved like that if the government keeps, they keep they supposedly advance like every year or something like that, 6 years. And we're at like, every year we advance, they advance 6 years with technologies that they have that they keep away from us. And I think that's the biggest thing of why conspiracies and shit like that and the trust. We don't have any trust. The trust in the media, the trust in government is at a record low right now. So
who influences that kind of thought, though?
The Pentagon.
Pentagon.
Yeah.
What's their goal then?
They own the CNN, and like they've been tied to like Disney and everything. It's got to be some kind of experiment. I mean, what else are they doing? Why else would they want to be doing?
They want some kind of war, some kind of conflict between like.
I think the war is just their way of to help reset. It's a lot of raw material that gets put out there and gets bought and exchanged. So it really helps kind of reset things a little bit for them and helps our economy. The reason we don't have manufacturing jobs, a lot of those gone, and the reason Trump got elected because he ran on bringing those back.
Yeah.
Well, that was for small products. Like how we had a problem finding anything to make the COVID syringes and all that other shit that we needed because China made it all.
Because what was that, NAFTA?
Well, that's all little crumbs that we were giving them, like little manufacturing jobs.
Made it cheaper to produce over there, though.
Yeah, because of labor. But over here, because we don't care about that. We sell fucking 100 jets that are $1 billion something a piece. That's what we care about. We take the big fish and there's the crumbs that the citizens have to live off of.
China uses that, and then they're just getting more powerful as we go along.
Oh yeah, they're just buying up the ports right now. That's the biggest.
While we're relaxing, sipping tea, they're just working all day and just slowly building up.
What they've done historically, because they weren't a.
They always lose.
Yeah, like really, the one to really look at is Japan, because look at Japan, how they were like. You think of the Karate Kid in the old school bungalow hut or whatever like that. No, you go there now, and that's some of the most technologically advanced. You don't even.
There's more Japanese people in Brazil than there are Japanese people in Japan. They like took over the whole place.
Brazil?
Yeah.
Dude, Seattle's got a lot of Japanese.
Yeah, so does Hawaii.
Some of the hottest Japanese I've ever seen. I was like, wow. What are they putting in their food? Because they got some big ass titties. And like, this is not normal.
This is their first time eating American food.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Jacks you with hormones.
But what do you think about the whole alien thing? Have you followed any of the stuff that's been disclosed lately?
I haven't really looked into it at all. Like as far as like, I haven't seen enough proof to every like show I see on TV. It just kind of leads you nowhere. Shit like that.
Well, I guess, where should we?
Any like documents or kind of like the CIA released?
Well, we had 9 months ago about right when pandemic was starting, like they were just talking about it in American news. A pandemic was going on like half a year before that. If you were following the market, you would know that because the markets affect everything that's going on in the world. It affects the market. So if you pay attention to the market and the news that goes along with it, you're going to know China was having a hell of a time with the pandemic and their market was fucking all crazy and going all crazy.
Does that make you like anxious at all? Or like, are you like following that much news?
No, well, I'm not like sitting there reading every article, but you can get the headlines and in certain ones you'll see stick out and you're like, what do you mean? Like China is going, what do you, pandemic? And then you see pictures and then you see like the pictures of them, like everyone locked up and stuff. You're like, let me check out what's going on. And but you really see where they're talking about this company that's connected to, our market just lost record amounts and you're seeing all of that. And that, so you're like, why is that going on? You just kind of.
But who's paying to put that article there?
Well, I mean, it's. The market, the people that are like, there's all kinds of different. What is it? You've got the hacks like Motley Fool and stuff. That I don't.
Is it from like an actual like writer, or is it just like?
Well, yeah. They'll be like, well, this is the reason why this company everybody's been on lockdown and nobody can buy their product.
Do they ever?
You got the large, huge billions of people of this population that's just been locked down and they can't go buy any product. They can't consume any product. So now this company is stuck holding the bag basically with all the product they have ready to go and the loans that they owe to keep everything afloat until the pandemic shit just so you see that you everything like we seen with all the factories shutting down and everything like that, which our market's weird because ours just kept going up. Like it just kept going up and it still keeps going up, and that's It shows you manipulate. That
Well,
shows
where
you
is it going up at? Like
record highs.
Well, you see all these and like food industry jobs kind of shutting down, all these small businesses.
That's what I've been trying to figure out. Where is it all going to go? Because that's a lot of money, and it is going to go somewhere.
Yeah.
And if you can figure out that, then you can get in early. You can get in.
What you're saying is like when there's blood in the streets, buy property, that kind of.
Yeah, like Warren Buffett
Whenever
says,
there's a tragedy,
when people are scared and they're panicking, is the best time to buy. Because they're gonna fucking sell it to you for dirt cheap. Like they're panic selling. You buy it that shit at
so who's buying up all these small businesses then?
They're just the banks already own them. They already own these small businesses are owned by. That's what a lot of people don't realize.
And we're giving the banks more money in bailout.
We've been giving them money, keeping up with the businesses, and then the banks basically take the business back, and then all of the equity that the people have built into there. All the extra stuff that they bought, like kitchen stuff, they're gonna auction that all off, take that chunk of money, and then they're gonna bring in a new fucking person that wants a restaurant and to put their life savings into a restaurant, and they're gonna give them a loan for the building and all the fucking
sell them back the kitchen equipment,
and they're gonna be on a loan, and unless you pay that loan off, the bank owns your shit.
But then the government can say to you, you got to shut down for this amount of time, anytime. So, hey, does the government make up for that lost income?
They said they were going to, but they didn't. You seen what we got?
Yeah,
and
I'm still waiting on my $600 check.
Yeah, damn. But yeah, what they did, every other country that's like us, civilized or not civilized, but a great economically advanced, gave like $2,000 to a month or whatever to their citizens. We're the only people that didn't give, forced people on unemployment and forced people to close down and lose everything, and was just like, yeah, we got the money, we're gonna give it to the banks. Instead of, so what they should have did is taken the loan. All right, you got a 30-year loan on your house, or let's just make it a 10-year loan on your house. All right, this past year, that's getting tacked on. You're going to pay your loans now extended a year. Same loan, same contract, but those months we're stopping the bank from having to, from taking everything. And those 6 months or that year we're shut down and we had to clear air because of the virus. Now all that's just tacked onto the back. It's like you started your contract a year later. That's all it was.
Do you get lower interest rates from that point?
No, everything stays the same. You've already signed into it that. You don't lose nothing. And for your groceries, to keep you guys' ass home, for entertainment, so you stay the fuck home, we're going to give you, or what is it? We're going to give you 65% of your normal income. You don't have to pay your mortgage. You don't have to fucking pay your electric. None of that, because the electric company now has that deal set up too. And everything like that. Yeah. And it's just getting tacked on to the back end. And the bank, well, you're going to just sit the fuck still. All right? You're just going to chill out. Nothing's going to happen to you. So get on your yacht. Just go get on your fucking yacht and shut the fuck up.
Is that socialism right there that you just described?
What that is basically, I guess, that's called a bailout of your people during a pandemic. I don't know what the name of that is. A socialism is like your country day by day is ran by that. No pandemic has forced you into it. Yeah. So a socialism is where, okay, I actually know the definition. Socialism, basically these corporations and companies are not owned by one person or a small group of people, a board of people. It's owned by every employee. Every employee has a stake or share in that company, a significant amount, and they all get to vote on what goes on in that company. That is basically what the definition of socialism is, that the employees of the workforce have the vote. And it's actually not, I've always believed that. If you're one of these big time corporations that weren't even part of building it, you were just like some schmuck, like
you just came in and bought it,
or you're named Hunter Biden, and
like Mitt Romney's companies did, Bain Capital.
Yeah, just like them. They the Hunter Biden got the job with the energy company for all that money. That's the same kind of thing. he just knows people. He got in there, and that goes on every day on both sides. Who fucking cares if it's Biden or Trump? Trump's, I mean, he's funny. I thought he was funny. A lot of his shit. He's a dumbass. I wouldn't hang out with him. He would not be on. Actually, I'd probably have him on the podcast. Trump, if you want to come on, I got some questions. I got some questions.
The funniest stand-up I've ever seen was him standing out there with the map talking about ISIS is defeated. I was like, this is the best stand-up bit I've ever seen.
I think the best shit, Joe Rogan said it the best. He's a rude comedian, New York comedian.
Yeah, like he's used to bombing and he doesn't care anymore.
Like when Hillary was talking that justice shit and he couldn't be a fucking the justice leader or something. He's like, because you'd be in jail, and it was like mic drop. Like, oh shit. Or when he was talking about buying Greenland. And he put the Trump Tower picture on Twitter.
He's an internet troll.
Yeah, he said, I promise if we buy Greenland, I won't do this. And he put a picture of a Trump Tower on the map of England or some shit. Greenland. And it's like, that's funny.
Yeah.
Like, that's funny. So he was just, I wouldn't hang out with him. I don't think he's all that great.
Yeah, that's what was weird. Like during that time when he got elected, people started holding other people to presidential standards as far as everything you said was offensive to someone, and where he was the only one not being held to presidential standards as far as everything I said was racist and I didn't know why.
Yeah, I could shut down a lot of those people because I think the last time I was judged, it was I think Corey Stewart, one of her. It's not Corey. It was a post or something like that. And I replied, I said something, not being an asshole, I'm sure. I probably was, I don't know. But she was like, you are a cis, white, privileged, something racist, homophobe, the whole line. I was like, first off, one of my dads, and I love him very much, and his husband.
You should just get a picture of you and your two dads together and just be like, these are my dads.
And a racist, huh? Well, no, it was about Obama. It was they were talking shit about Trump, and then like I said, they'll talk shit, all this immigration thing, and all these people in these camps. Well, Obama and Biden's administration had higher numbers than Trump, and detained and deported higher numbers.
Didn't they call Obama the deporter in chief? His nickname.
Yeah, that was Biden and Trump's thing. Biden and Obama's thing.
Tag him back. Send them back.
Well, how is Trump catching the grief on that one? That I didn't like. But the stupid shit, that was dumb for the left to do. The things that the media and these people get. Twitter. It's Twitter. Twitter should just be shut the fuck down because it's stupid anyways. It's fucking dumb. Everything you can do on Twitter, you can do on Facebook, but longer.
Twitter never made any profit till 2017.
Yeah, that's probably funneling money, showing losses.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They're there for a reason as far as causing division.
Yeah, that's just writing losses off for not paying taxes. Yeah. That's basically Trump didn't pay taxes.
But I'm saying they were there for a reason, just to make that division.
Oh yeah, that's definitely
make
something
people argue amongst themselves all the time. It's
Jack Dempsey trying to look like the stoner dude, with the long beard.
He's like, I'm just a regular dude.
Hey, now you're a fucking basement goddamn computer geek. Get out of here. Go program something. Go fix my robot vacuum.
Want to talk about racism, bro?
I just, he thinks he's so important and shit. Comes out and they have him on for, or these people that they have perfect example. Our news. What happened to news? It's not news. It's opinion pieces. Everything is well, I think. Yeah. Bitch, I don't care what you think. You are a fucking 22-year-old blonde chick that got the job because we know why. I'm just that's sexist.
Just because it's true doesn't mean it's necessarily sexist. Yeah.
But come on. Sometimes you see these. You can watch some of these girls and guys that they because it's the same thing with the young guys that they have too. That they get up there and they can bear the guy that they write up and write their stories for them that they have on a teleprompter and they're like nothing bigger than 6-letter words. They're just staring off and shit like George Bush back in the day. What's Jamie Foxx's? He couldn't fucking read. We're gonna take the USA.
Well, it seems like a lot of what is on, like, that is available to watch, or like what you see on the news, it's all sex and violence they're pushing.
Oh yeah, it's all the only reason I have Facebook again is because of fucking Mike Tobin and the back door making me sign up for that. And it was like I didn't have Facebook for a good while, like years. And because I realized that back then, I was like, this thing is just pissing people off. Like, it's just made to piss you off.
Yeah.
And I was too worried about surf, bitches, and slinging fucking blow. That was my...
Well, they also have your data. And that's what, like, I've heard quotes like, data is the new currency.
Oh, data's worth more than fucking oil. Before COVID. Yeah. And that was another manipulated market. You notice a gallon of gas has stayed right around $2 in Missouri.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, a barrel of oil was below $1. Okay, during this whole thing, it's been like struggling. Like barrels of oil were going for less than $1, but we were paying $2 for a gallon of gas. Still, we should have been seeing fucking 10-cent gallons of gas, but no, we've got so much government and companies.
Well, how many people pay attention to that to be like, oh, like they're just see it as, oh, at least I'm not paying $3 or $4 like I did a decade ago.
Yeah, but if that's based off of the fact that we had the oil tankers, we were full, our refineries full. They had to just sit out there in the water, like filled with oil, just waiting.
We were too successful at war.
We couldn't go and nowhere, so nobody was consuming it.
Yeah.
So it was just like the oil.
Oh, so the backup from the shutdown.
So all these ships were sitting there, and we have oil reserves like out of this world. Like we probably have a whole mountain system. That's just in case
we need to fight a war.
Yeah, then they think, and that's a big reason they have fought, and they haven't come out publicly and fought it. But there's a reason they haven't allowed these renewable energy sources. And just like 9 months ago, back to the perfect, we had the technology. 9 months ago, the Pentagon came out on public news and everything and said, and they released 3 UFO videos: the gimbal, the Nimitz, and the Tic Tac.
I think I've seen the Tic Tac.
The Tic Tac was with Joe Rogan had the jet pilot that was filming it and was in the jet following this UFO. Had him on and everything, and he explained it. And then Lex Friedman, I don't know if you know anything about him. He has a podcast.
No.
He's an MIT like physicist or whatever, but real cool dude that brings on all these MIT fucking geniuses and does this podcast. Does a long form podcast, and they break down. The big thing right now that's in physics and all these physicists do as like hobby study, because that's what these geeks do, I guess, is the shit I was talking about, that Project Stargate and the consciousness, that's what they really are digging into right now. That's a big thing. They used to always just write it off. They never had any, but they're actually like digging into it hard. And
what are they trying to do with it?
They're just noticing that like all of this shit is real, and they're trying to figure out what it is exactly and how we can probably control it and harness it. I mean, that's what it's always.
You don't think they've hacked the human brain with things like social media and television yet? Like,
well, I mean, if they haven't, it's already out. They have it to where like the paraplegics can have the system to where they can look at their phones and in text message like. It's all through the fucking... They've mapped out the brain pretty much well enough to hack it enough to allow you to send messages and all that. The big reason it's not publicly available as a big thing is because of the security of human beings, like the rights.
Well, I'm talking about like blocking the like extra ability and like freedom of thought.
Yeah, see, I think that's what they've been doing. Like we have the ability, but... They have this, for some reason, they're just like not letting us use it. It's like somehow they figured out a way to like, as we evolve more, because when's the next of human evolution? How long have we been around? They say, how you know
when we evolve like more like next senses, kind of like it's the sixth sense in a way, where
the mind and like because our mind
they keep us at a lower levels though, like with more like I say pushing sex and violence, like that keeps you rooted.
Yeah, that savage fucking. That's what I've always said when people talk about that big saying, well, that's just the way it is. You know, when you ask about war or why is the government's even going to do that stupid, that's just the way it is. How long is it going to be like that?
Yeah.
You know, eventually it's 2021. Like, we eventually got to step the fuck
the
up.
wars
and like,
stopped becoming physical and they started becoming over like data and they started becoming over control.
Oh, well,
they're like they see like physical violence. That's like they can control that at any pace. They're like, because they can always make the other group look like the aggressor in the like media.
Oh yeah, they do a very good job with the
playing the victim. They're like, look what happened to us.
Yeah, and I remember I first kind of learned that and seen that when I hooked up with this French foreign exchange student, Margot. And every dude in the school in Carolina was trying to get it, and I was like, I'm getting it first, bitch. I did, but
been there.
She was like, we had a history together, and she's like, it's not the same. We aren't taught the same. This is what she would tell me. Like, yeah, she's like, your guys' history is not right. And I've always believed that. Like, I've always said America's backbone and structure, it was built off of 2 genocides, and we've been working on our 3rd with the Middle East. This fucking
and with ourselves too. Look how much shit's sterile in our world.
Yeah, that's another one. Like the population control, which is real. Well, everyone's like, that's not real. It's like, yeah, no, there's a lot of people that are population control like fanatics that are like
they bite into the brainwashing as far as everything.
And they have the money, and
our plants don't reproduce, our weed doesn't reproduce. Like we don't reproduce.
Weed reproduces.
Most of it doesn't.
No,
like once it became legal, like you stopped seeing seeds in your bag.
Oh yeah. No, I can. You can force that though.
Yeah.
You can just put like during your bloom, you can like take a trash bag and tie it over the fucking.
If you're growing it yourself.
Yeah.
I just buy it.
Yeah. Well, that's just.
Well, that's what I noticed. I was like, then like if it's not reproducing on its own, then like it's GMO.
They would call that capitalism has made weed the product's quality so much better that capitalism has gotten control of it. No, really what it is more consumers and more people have gotten a hold of it and have been, realized that the war on it was bullshit.
Yeah.
So now they're like, oh, well, what? You got smart people that are actually fucking with weed, and they're like, oh, okay, well, that's some ditch shit. Mm-hmm. I'm an actual fucking botanist from Harvard.
Well,
Watch this.
And they don't want you to, like, have their product. As far as seeds, like you can't do it.
Oh yeah. But that's you can still get the. I mean, yeah, you're gonna have to. You hermaphrodite the plant out by fucking up its schedule. I mean, if you get the plant. Now, if you don't get the plant.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I just buy buds.
Yeah, but you can. I mean, the weed is like. There's so many of the strains out there that's what I've always wanted to buy. I just had never broke down and spent $1,000, but they have a catalyst scanner. You can plug right into your smartphone. And you can grind up like a little small amount of weed, put it in this little thing, put it in there, and it'll tell you the strains that it is.
Just from the sound?
Huh?
Just from the sound?
The weed. You just put a little weed in the thing, boop, and you put it into that little catalyst scanner, and it fucking tells you if it's got pesticides on it, which strain it's closely resembles.
How much pesticide is usually on weed?
You'd be surprised. Like spider mites are a huge issue with growers, and when you get them, you should pretty much shut down and fucking full-blown exterminate. Like just completely get rid of everything because and you really with spider mites and ganja, they have their own spider mite fucking gene from growers growing and passing on these spider mites to each other. To all these personal grows for so long, like they got this resilience to the fucking
pesticides.
Yeah, well, you have to use all natural shit. Like if you want to be if you want to do it right, and why would you spend all the time doing like organic super soils and everything like that, and then go throw some chemicals on your shit? It's just, and especially if it's a week out of budding or something like that, and you ain't. I can understand if there was some little tiny clones or something, but. You see spider mites, you got to shut down because you're not getting rid of them until you completely fog that motherfucker.
And how much stuff that, like, let's say an average person, their friend grows, how much, is there any spider mites on their stuff, you'd say?
Yeah, if there's carpet in their house and they're going from their room to their grow room, there's fucking mites. There's aphids, there's mites.
Is there, Like, are they worse to smoke than the mites? Are they bad to smoke?
They're not good, but if you have smoke outdoor, all natural outdoor, you're gonna get some webbing of sorts. You're gonna get some carcasses of sort. You see all those books over there?
Yeah.
That's just weed books. There's certain things I get really geeky about, and it kind of comes with the hair, I guess. But my pops let me grow some weed back when I was 17.
Yeah.
And it was like, I could stay in. And I was reading a bunch about it, and I was like, it was like a science experiment for myself. And then I just really got into it. And I really thought I was going to go, eventually it was going to go legal, and I was going to have this great job offer. But no, it's gone legal here, and the only people they'll hire are from Colorado and fucking anywhere that there's been groves.
So people who got in the market before?
Yeah. That's my wife. Have you guys met?
Hey. I don't know.
No.
I don't think we have.
Probably passing.
She's a fan of your ex.
She's a fan of my ex?
Yeah, they're friends on Facebook.
Oh, Jess?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Jess.
I think we're all friends with her.
Yeah, Jess is awesome.
Yeah. Have you spoken to her?
Yeah, she's
Yeah?
doing pretty
That's
good.
cool.
She just got a new job, and
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, because I know COVID had really fucking... I think everybody went through a stint of depression there through COVID and shutting down. It was like, I can't shut down. I have to go. Or I'm going to have to think about life.
yeah. Gotta spend that much time alone. Yeah.
What's up, babe?
Nothing. I was just seeing where you guys are at and stuff. I didn't know if we were eight. I just got home. I don't know. Hi.
Oh, okay. She's getting cocky. No.
You gonna have her on as a guest?
I did. I'm working on editing it right now. I do a little bit of editing just because of stuff like that, But I'm not really good at it. So that's one thing I usually like.
Have you had anyone tell you no yet?
What?
When you ask them to be a guest?
I've had just people not respond. Like
Really?
Greg Warren, and yeah, there's been a few people that just didn't even respond, which is cool. Whatever. Like, just don't hit me up if it gets somehow starts. Like, whatever. I'm just.
Do they think they're like better?
I'm sure the big thing. It's kind of like my thought, like Molly Ambergry's podcast.
Yeah.
I would never ask. I couldn't ask her to have me on hers or her on here until I feel I have something else. So I don't want her to think I'm like piggybacking off of her.
Yeah.
Because she's worked really hard to get where she's at and everything. You see a lot of that in like podcasts and YouTube channels. It's just pays like subscribe for me and I'll subscribe for you, and it's like build your own thing, and then and I haven't gotten to where she's at, especially her quality. She uses a studio, I believe, fucking with really nice mics, and like I've got Shure, and those are like that's an SM58. This is a Pile, or I don't know what it is. It's not. It was just as much as the Shure, but I liked it better. So, yeah, the podcast thing is. That's all you see nowadays is just another podcaster on a podcast. And I was like, they're just piggybacking off of each other's likes and stuff like that.
Well, you gotta stand out.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to do my own thing. I want to get my own fan base. And I mean, she asked me to come on. Yeah. But she has real comedians come on. You'd be on there. John Maddie's on there. Don John. People like that. She has real I'm not. I guess I'm a real comic because I've done shows and stuff, but I'm not at the level that any of the comedians she has on her show. And her following, I'm sure, I haven't looked at it actually, but I'm sure she's got a bigger following. She's been doing it longer.
Yeah.
I think I am catching up on content with her though, because I try to get like 2 or 3 of these in a week.
What does she do, like one a week or?
Yeah, but then again, her quality and everything is top notch. She's got the studio, I think, that's doing hers, and I'm sure they're doing a lot of post editing.
And do they have like musical guests and stuff?
Yeah. And hers is very structured. Hers is like a.
Like she probably writes out some questions.
Oh yeah,
beforehand.
she has like a clipboard, I believe, or an iPad. That's
You're not ready to be that professional.
I don't know. I had that all set. I did it with like Mike Tobin. I had questions because I'm the entrepreneur, and we were talking about business and stuff like that for a little while, and then I was like, all right, time to talk about aliens, bro. But yeah, I think it just feels too forced. I get you're comedian, you've been doing it this long, you know. They know we're in St. Louis. There's not. I can't tell your story. You can tell you. No one. Who cares what you tell us? Let's see how you fucking are. Like, the podcast is more for me sitting down with people that I would like to get to hang out with, that you don't see out and about, that I think is cool, or to air some shit out.
Have you gotten there yet? Like any therapy sessions on here?
Well, this is always really nice. Like Nick Lacer said, he's like, man, it's so nice to have gone out. And I was like, and have a conversation with someone, you know, just that's not in my everyday.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, yeah, it is. That's kind of what this is. Just hanging out, getting to know what other people have to say about some shit. I mean, you see so much people get so much information from podcasts just because people talk about what they know. This is what I've learned. If you don't believe me, go look it up. And you're like, is that real? It's real. Oh, shit.
Go down the rabbit hole. And yeah. I prefer podcast over like watching TV or.
I really like video podcasts. That's the whole reason I did the video is because, but I've got it set up now. I've just now started uploading on I believe I'm on Spotify now, and iTunes, I think, is where I've got accepted to distribute to on my podcast. But I haven't uploaded all my shit yet. So, and which is a motherfucker because I've got to get a new computer, and every time I go to buy one, I'm like, no, I should just save up for that one. Yeah. Then I'd really be able to fucking do some shit. By the end of it, I'm going to be like editing virtual reality, 3D, fucking Oculus video.
Oh, you're getting
games.
all the.
No, I don't need it, but
cameras?
I am going to get I'm going to get like I want 3 cameras, that switcher board, and eventually I'll have someone that's really good with like the tech shit. Like Joe Rogan has a Jamie. Yeah. I'm looking for a Jamie. They can sit over there. I'll set you up your own little spot. You can have your computer, and you Google any of the shit we talk about.
This is like you're putting out asking people for their resumes right now.
I don't even need a resume. Do you know it? Because you know it more than me. This took me months to figure out how to get everything synced up, get it all like what format, what bit rate.
Are you just gonna pay them in weed or?
No, they could just be part of it. Like they're they just like Jamie. You know how much money that motherfucker has made off of it. And there's a lot of different ways. A lot of people. That's one thing. Like me and Mike Tobin were talking about on our episode is a lot of people don't know how to market and network and brand their shit and make money off of it. But the biggest issue I'm having is the subscribers, because you have to get to a certain subscribers to really get noticed to be able to get monetized on YouTube. But
when do they start monetizing you?
1,000 subscribers, and I've only got like 30.
Yeah, so
but like 80% of my shit I'm up to, like, just this month I'm up to like almost 100, if I'm not already there, 100 hours of watch minutes.
Nice.
So, in a lot of views. So they can, like, YouTube seeing that my shit's not the algorithm sees that it's not like, I'm not going on Fiverr and hiring some fucking bot guy that has bots that, like, does fake views or a bunch of, shit like that. Because I'm actually making content and people are actually watching it. They're just not subscribing because they're assholes.
Do you ever push it on like Facebook a lot, like your page?
Yeah, I upload clips on there, little clips here and there. Like I usually, which I'll hit you with actually that's a perfect one. What's the biggest tip you got in comedy that helped you get out of that what is the biggest thing that helped you into comedy? Like not get you just in comedy, the biggest tip or advice you ever got that was like, or that you figured out?
I'd say for like tip wise, I would say Chad Wallace. He like when I first started, I was like way more offensive than I am now. And
really?
Like, yeah.
I would have liked to see that.
Yeah. And instead of telling me to tone it down or anything, he just told me, be 115% you up there. Like basically turn the knife. If you're gonna go that far, keep going.
Yeah.
And like that was, but like to get myself in the mindset before I go on stage, kind of. I just think I'm gonna be like present, precise, and patient on stage.
Patient.
Yeah, I'm gonna let that laugh. I'm gonna let it come, and then let it sizzle down before I like that timing wise.
Yeah, that's a big thing with that's how I can, if I get a good crowd, I can cut my set in half just because of the time allotted to me. If I get a good crowd, good laughs, it actually gets kind of annoying because like, I actually got a couple jokes I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But it's great. That's one thing. That was my biggest, I think my big tip I took from it was like, learn how to time the laughter. Like as people are calming down from the laughter, then hit them with your tag or, shit like that then they'll be
ride the wave.
Yeah. And then once it goes,
that's my whole focus is always laughs per minute.
Yeah, somebody said that to me after I got into one-liners. I was like, oh, I can do laughs per minute. I'll tell you, I got that.
Like if you can, like for 15 minutes, if you could average like you want to do like 18 laughs per minute. 18 seconds of laughs per minute as a headliner. That's what the goal is.
Yeah, that's something I would like. That's a goal by the end of the year. Like a little goal I have, I guess, is to not headline, just have a full year 2 of performing. But I've been writing so much, and I'm still like taking my old notebook and like just now like actually pulling more shit out that I'm comfortable with. Now I'm getting more and more comfortable.
I go through that where it's like I wasn't confident enough to say this joke on stage yet. And it's like I go back through old notebooks and it's like this is a good joke. I just wasn't ready to tell it yet.
Yeah. And sometimes I just gotta like it took me a while to do because I wrote a whole set during Black History Month in my pops when I was hanging out with my pops a lot, and it was I didn't want to really do it for a while. I was like, I don't know. They may take it offensive. Then I realized how hard they were ragging on us. I was like, all right, fuck it. Just don't say it. And it's gonna, I think it could happen. And I'm going to feel bad for whatever comedian it happens to because lately, I used to be one of the only white guys that were going to some of these mics, and now it's actually nice to see like there's 5 or 6 white guys in there mingling around. Yeah. You still see them like all crowd out. All
Whenever I went to
separated.
I went to the one I think on Natural Bridge.
Teneros.
They have like the competition there. I forgot the name of it. Like every Monday, I think it was.
Oh, I don't know. I may not have been that one.
No, that one was fun. As far as like, Nate Barron went on before me.
Oh.
And like,
all race material.
Some.
Yeah.
But like, didn't close strong. And so like I was like I gotta get their attention and I opened up with my joke where I eventually say faggot in it and like I was getting booze and that's where Nate started recording me. It was at the booze and he sends me a video. I'm just getting booed but like I slowly went him back.
Yeah. That's a good take. A lot of people do. A lot of comedians do that. Good, what you experienced comedians. You'll see them like I'm just gonna dig myself a hole and try to pull myself out of it and.
Yeah, and it was a great time, and like when they did the audience applause, like they did like, oh, we're gonna move 4 people by applause, and I was the only comic and the only white person to move forward by applause. And I was like, that was fun. Like as far as like, I try to be as honest as I can in my comedy.
Yeah.
Like this is real life experience, or this is like, whatever. If it's a terrible thing in the news or whatever, it's like I'm gonna be like my own view of it, where it's like I'm not taking anything seriously.
Kind of like Harlan.
Well, I'm not really like pushing any ideas or morality or anything.
Yeah, he's like, I'm just stating.
Yeah, this is just
morbid.
Yeah, this is just funny to me. Like, I don't want to be an example of morality or anything. I don't want anyone to look up to me or.
Yeah, I did for a little bit. I like I think one of my best way to explain it is Stephen Wright. How he has some jokes. It's just like my girlfriend. And I went camping, and the weirdest thing happened. She got poison ivy on the brain. So she has to think of sandpaper to scratch it. Like it's just like, what the fuck did that come from? Or this is like the off the wall shit. Like I wish I could come up with something half as genius as some of Stephen Wright's shit, because he does have that, just like his delivery. I can't watch any Stephen Wright before I'm gonna perform anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, can't do it, because I will end up going up there and doing my monotone shit, and I catch myself, and that's not me completely. Like,
And once I started like doing stand up more, like I quit watching stand up comedy. Like there's a couple comics I'll watch because it's like I'm not gonna copy them, but like
like I'm Sam Kinison. I'll always like if I see something that I really think's funny, it's been a while, I watch his shit. Older comedy, I'll find like little gems. Like I found one not too long ago, and it was a guy that would come on stage with a paper bag on his head. Have you ever seen this?
That sounds familiar, but I don't remember any jokes
he
from
like
it.
have a paper bag on his head with 2 holes.
That's gonna last a long time as an act.
Well, eventually he would take it off and everything, but he had a lot of good jokes, little solid fucking jokes and stuff. I was like, what happened to this guy? But that's, yeah. What did are you gonna hit the road when this shit clears back up?
I don't know. Like let's see, when did it shut down? Like the 13th or March 13th or whatever, like something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that.
But like they're planning on like 2 weeks after the shutdown, they were planning on having all the like places we're gonna play at, all contracts signed with them, and then they're gonna sign us. So we're like 3 weeks away whenever everything shut down and going.
So was this a tour?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so like where? So you had been like outdoor festival?
Wherever like what the manager, a friend of mine, he said that it was gonna be like mostly dive bars. Where like we each put in like we each got a cut of the night, a hotel room, and gas money to do that. So like it was always, everyone was paid every night. Everyone had a place to stay every night.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like we had it all, like that was all getting there.
That's my buddy Antonio. Really been out there he's a musician though. It's that guy up there, but he was doing that. They got a van, because he got a band. I bet you he would wish to get a free hotel room.
Like we didn't, like they offered us more than we initially put out there too, so that was nice as far as like price.
Yeah, so you were still gonna get a standard fee.
Yeah, it was a good amount for.
Nice.
Yeah, like we were like even the amount because like the initial thing was for each of us to do 20 minutes, and then there was like me and Ronaldo can each do 15, Matt can do 30, and then pay him more, and like it got to that to where it was like. But we gotta wait and see. So far, I haven't heard anything new.
Then you guys gotta knock the rust off, because nobody's really actually performed for real crowds.
Yeah, I did a house party like a month ago, and like
I've done a couple of those.
That's always fun. Yeah. Like to just say whatever you want the whole time. Like just make. Like I came up with a new like if a joke doesn't land, I'm just like, that was a home run of a joke right out of the park and over your heads, just to fuck with them. And just like I had like a new bit where I kind of fucked up a whole bunch of things in my life, and just kind of let the comedy write itself, and like didn't let it fix itself, just kind of just let the comedy keep coming, and like got like a 5-minute bit out of it, and just like at like a house party, and just like I just went through it, and just like it did really well. And
just freestyling.
Yeah, and it did, like I had it like kind of where I was going with it, as far as like, because tried to just keep the story linear.
The comedians that can do that every show, like fucking Kyle Fields and Schultz, like Andrew Schultz, I think he's mastered some.
I haven't seen any of his stuff,
dude. Like he's somebody I'll watch, because he's just crowd. He sits on a stool in New York doing comedy, and he just talks to the crowd, and just the jokes dude. Like he's great. He just got a Netflix special that he did a different kind of form of comedy. He didn't do like a stand-up with it on a stage. He sat down in a chair and talked mad shit on the past year. They just talked a bunch of shit and made a bunch of funny references and stuff. So it was actually really, really good in a way, but it wasn't what I like his stand up because he's just sitting on a stool, not even, but he just talks shit to the crowd, all freestyle and all crowd work. He's like the crowd work king right now. But Kyle Fields is really good.
I haven't heard of him either.
No, he's out. I've done a show or two with him. He's got that Kyle Fields is one of those guys that's he's doing things as far as if it comes to crowd work. That's all he does is he's out there like killing the crowd.
Yeah, I need to pay attention to more comics who are above me as far as like but like
you just can't compare yourself to them. Like that's one thing that I see guys doing and certain comedians are like, but I'm better. Man, he got the show, so fucking what? Yeah. Like there's gonna be a day that you've got 2 or 3 shows in a week, and they're gonna be thinking, man, I think I should be on that show.
Yeah.
No, you don't. Like, you didn't earn it. You
it's
obviously
an up and down thing.
Yeah, you didn't suck the right dick. Like, maybe that comic did some strange. You don't know.
Sometimes it's who you know.
Yeah, that it really is. I noticed. I had a couple people hit me up and stuff on comedy, and I haven't done any of it. Just the ones that were like wanting to get on the podcast, and it's like,
yeah.
Man, first off, I don't want to drive 3 hours to your podunk country town during a pandemic so nobody's going to show up. I don't care about the pandemic. I got a mask that's been in my car and I've worn since it started.
Getting any bacterial infections?
No. The drugs would kill me first, man. Not really. I mean, probably. Who knows? I mean, if I don't, it'll be something. The cigarettes is what's going to kill me worse than anything, really. The cigarettes.
If you're a betting man, that's what you'd put it on, the cigarettes.
And I just got to quit, and then I won't be betting on that. But if I don't quit, it's going to fuck me up because I smoke too hard sometimes.
Do you do any cardio?
I'm a carpenter, so I'm climbing and like carrying a lot of picking up, moving weight, like building walls, build houses. So there's a lot of people are surprised what this hand can hold, like gutter board, a 2x8, just hold it out there forever. No, not forever, but you just really get surprised at like the strengths you get. Because I've always been like a little scrawny. I'm still a little scrawny guy, but since doing that, like. If I wanted to grab a hold of somebody, I'm not really one of the guys that I'm not looking for no issues. I mean, if you burn into me, I'm just gonna swing. But
that's
I don't want no issues. I'll avoid it. But if you make it unavoidable, if you put me in a corner, I gotta fuck my way out of it. But that's I kind of recently, the other day at work, I was like, picked up this huge double LVL. It's just a really gnarly piece of wood. And I was like, God damn, yeah. I wonder what would happen if I could just grab someone by their throat and just, motherfucker. But no one pisses me off enough for that, really. Usually I'm like, why you mad, dude? What did I say? Because I'm a moron. Like, I probably don't know what I'm talking about. Why don't you educate me?
You didn't insult anyone directly. No.
Yeah, not usually. I mean, I kind of did that Nicole chick once. She piped in with something, and I was like, I was just my professional information, and I was like, oh, well, what do you expect me to do for bills? I don't get no. Somebody said something. I was like, well, I was expecting her to give me some knowledge on how to diversify my portfolio for my retirement fund if she's expecting me to quarantine for 2 weeks.
Because you're at that show?
Yeah. And see, the thing is, what pissed me off is my old lady had just gotten tested, and if she didn't have it, I definitely didn't have it. So, but I get why the funny bone was like, did all that. I get that. I was kind of just being a dick. Sometimes I'm a dick.
Nothing wrong with that.
I admit what I'm wrong though. Like, I'm the first one to be like, yeah, I was a dick and it was stupid, but fuck off. Like, get over it.
Yeah.
Or fight me. Like, beat me up. Or, I've had my ass kicked before. It's not that bad. I mean, just don't watch the teeth, because that's the worst injury. It's like getting your teeth pushed in.
You just can't take the them just what do you call it? I don't know, like shit now, but
Yeah, social justice warriors talking shit.
well, that's what, like, with the whole storm in the Capitol, it kind of made me see, like, oh shit, these people are brainwashed, and it's just like kind of made me clear on like the far left stuff.
Yeah,
it's like, oh, that's what they've been doing to them for the last 6 years.
I've been called, if I'm in a room with the far left or a far right person, I'm called, the right calls me a leftist and the left calls me a right person. I'm like, no. See, I believe what I believe, but I believe in 2021 we have the technological and the knowledge, and we should have the fucking ability to make sure no human on earth doesn't have some clean water, some bread, and a fucking roof over their head.
Yeah.
And there's got to be somewhere that the profit and the consumption, the consuming of every resource and every piece of everything with these people has got to be like, there's got to be a line at some point.
Well, not just like
a
food,
basic human
but
needs.
like actual nutrition. We need to push that more.
Yeah, like everything. And
that's what what bothered me with the whole forcing the mask was, like, how am I responsible for someone else's immune system? Like, when is that a thing? Like, are they taking care of their immune system? Are they still drinking soda, eating fast food? It's like, are they not like, because when I went and got a COVID test when I was sick in December, like, the doctor, I came back negative, but like the doctor was like, are you like taking vitamin C? Are you taking vitamin D and zinc? And I was like, yeah, I have like mega dose in vitamin C powder, taking vitamin D. And he's like, oh, then if you do have it, that's what kept the symptoms so mild. But he was like pushing nutrition, and like I don't see any of that anywhere.
No, you don't. You really don't see many people talking about that. It's just
lockdown. That's what my thing was. Is like, if I'm going to be responsible for your immune system, I'm going to be responsible for your immune system. I'm going to come at and be like, every time you're eating Taco Bell, like, what the fuck is that? Like,
that's killed more people than COVID, bitch.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. If you're going to put me on it, I'm going all in. Like,
that's kind of how I was. And you want me to lock down? Fine, that's fine. But I got a mortgage. It's got to be paid. And I've got a fucking car notes. And whether you want me to pay it by going to work and everything, that's the best way. Because if not, I'm just going to fucking rob you.
Yeah.
That's what I was like. I'm not letting my shit go. No one's taking my shit.
Why aren't we like storming like a Federal Reserve Bank or IRS, shit like that?
Well, that's what I've always said. Like, you want to get their attention? Yeah. Go to the fucking reserve. Go to the feds. And lock that motherfucker down and see how quick shit gets realized. But you can't go to it with the conspiracy. When the Capitol got sieged, I was like, cool. Like, eventually they'll get taken down, and maybe they'll do enough damage to where we could come in and reset and redo some shit. Like,
that was the shittiest revolution I've ever seen.
Yeah,
you guys suck at
you were watching
doing
people
anything.
Fall off climbing up a 10-foot wall that's got like plenty of room to hold on to.
It's like none of these people have answers to like, who do we kill and who do we replace them with? They have no answers to that.
I've got some ideas. Joe Rogan.
Joe Rogan.
Yeah, because he'll just bring everybody on that's got a problem. Be like, now what's the issue? Tell me about it. Now wait a minute. And then he'll fucking call people out with his book. I mean, it sucks to say that's like really cliche, but I mean, his show, the people he brings on and fucking questions and like really like calls people out and shit, but not in a rude way, but just in a very, he's gotten really good at it with his thousands that he's done.
Who do we push? Who do we know that will, like, if they were to lead as far as like setting examples and laws and stuff, would like keep pushing the good morality?
Andrew Yang.
Yeah, I liked him.
Yeah, I think he was the best option we had when it came down to it. The dude wanted to have our economy measured by happy meter. And he wanted to give us $1,000 a month. You dumbasses. People are stupid.
That's what, like,
no, he had a lot of really good ideas.
If the ticket was him and Sanders, like, I would have registered to vote.
Yeah.
Like, I've never voted before, but I would have registered. I was like, but no one else was even close to where I want to see society going. So I was like, I don't support any of this.
Yeah, that's a big argument. I was like, neither one have earned or deserved. So like, they're both pieces of shit. Like, you're giving us two rapists, old rapist whitey dudes. Like, they're if they didn't rape anyone, they're still rapey.
I think the two bad choices have been on purpose.
Oh yeah, like this is you can definitely
It's like if you're constantly picking between the lesser of two evils, that's a shitty way to live.
Yeah. When people say that, it's like that's the dumb or just the vote blue no matter who. It's like, why don't you pay attention to policies?
Yeah.
Why don't you pay attention to what that actually
and character? Yeah. It's like that's why it pushed a lot of people away from Trump was a shitty character.
Yeah, that was his. But then he had those diehard, which I bet you if they actually studied. I was just thinking today. I was like, I wonder what's going on in these conspiracies because you can tell they can tell a religious person. They can look at the brain and see certain parts of the brain that light up when shown something, and that can determine if they are super religious and believe in stuff like that. Yeah. I wonder what part of the brain lights up for conspiracy theorists that really go on the deep end, like those QAnon guys
that want to hurt people because of what they believe. Yeah, that to me is brainwashing.
There's definitely that. Well, but what if the conspiracy of like 9/11 was true and you find out all those thousands of people were fucking killed by our own government, which had the plans and the whole idea to do it years prior?
What do you think of the money missing before 9/11?
I think it's a good reason why they flew a plane in the Pentagon's financial fucking division.
Like I had a joke where it was like, you had to know enough about 9/11 to figure that it's not racist, where it was 9/11 was proof how much Muslims hate Jews. Because like, who do you think was in those buildings? It's like they go to work on time, they make a lot of money.
That's true. Dude, I watched this one not too long ago. This guy, I think he's a fucking geek when it comes to he's a chemist, physicist or chemical physicist. But he's got a YouTube channel. It's called Alien Scientist or something. But he goes in on 9/11 was his thing. Like I guess why it was because he released it a couple years ago. But I mean, he connects every single thing, like every person. Like I'm not talking about the conspiracy. He connects. Well, Bush and this person are connected to this person, and this person's connected. He did the whole deep web scan, like what the fucking NSA does to like people can do. Like they can just type in a name and then it'll show everyone you're connected to, and then they can look into that person and that person, like the Edward Snowden shit. And like they did that, and it showed everything, where every dollar, all the like technology, the nanotechnology or whatever that they had, they found the particles and they found all of that, and how he was connected, the people that made it was connected. Everything, like, well, this is where they had their relationship, and this is how the money, where they got money. I mean, I was like, I can't believe this isn't taken down, because this is the best case right here.
Well, what's the point if you know now? What are you going to do?
I mean, they actually just last year before COVID had like 3,000 of the top architects and then they had hundreds of actual first responders and people part of 9/11 that all signed this big petition to open back the case up, because they, like, architects have ran it at Johns Hopkins. They ran a program and it would have to that building would have had to had missing the way it fell. The one building, 7.
Yeah. Like I like the meme Tower 7 didn't kill himself.
Yeah, like how that it would have had like 600 girders and beams to be removed for that building to go down the way it did with just a fire. So they would have that many.
The whole inside structure would have had to been removed.
Yeah, and that's what the program, the algorithm that they ran for like 2 years or whatever, and they came out and they were in public. It was it's on YouTube, but you have to really search for it. But yeah, it's like a fire department chief and lawyers and architectural fucking structure guys, explosive guys. There are like thousands of people that have signed this fucking shit to go up. So hopefully, but they won't. They won't. They're talking about trying to open up that whole bag of worms to try to prove Russia was part of it. We'll try to prove Russia was part of it. I think I was just hearing or something on the news.
What did they have to do?
Hillary and Nancy were talking about how it should be reinvestigated to see if Russia had ties to 9/11.
Well, didn't we fund Osama bin Laden in the 80s to fight the Russians?
We fucking trained it. He was a CIA fucking operative or whatever.
So why aren't we investigating that?
We gave them the weapons.
Yeah.
We gave the soldiers the training that he had. We built Osama bin Laden. We built just like we built Al Qaeda. It's that's part of the co-op mission, like those regime co-ops.
And just when you think you've had enough, they're like, no, wait, there's more. ISIS. Still
ISIS.
selling infomercials.
Yeah, and just like what they've been doing in Venezuela. As soon as they get that all under control and take that shit over, you'll see it. There'll be a terrorist group that comes from there, and that's just the radical people that right now that those guerrilla militia groups that they have that they're funding and that they're putting together and training.
That's what was messed up about like all these people mad at like immigrants and refugees. It's like the U.S. government they funded all this civil wars, all the drug cartels, and then so all the people are like, we need to get out of here, and then they go north, and instead of blaming the government, whereas the government's like, look at all these people coming up, you know.
I've come up with the perfect way for immigration to fix that problem. Let them come. We have power in numbers. So a well-fit male and everything needs to serve some form of like military, and you don't have to go like battle, but you do 6 years. You have to pass the test, and you pay taxes on those 6 years of your military service. It's gonna give us a surplus of money and tax revenue, and it's gonna give us a fucking huge military. No one wants to fuck with that many people.
I would say when they come up. Give us an example of how the U.S. government has fucked up your area.
Oh yeah, that's a
and
good
then
one.
we'll make you a citizen. Just please bring pictures, like video, whatever.
Hand them a ball of coke, some heroin. They're like, oh yeah, come on in.
Yeah, they're like, oh, they fucked you good. We can't like, or like the refugees in the Middle East. It's like, who do you think like instigated those wars?
We've.
And it's like, so they all left there because everyone's just getting massacred.
Yeah, what about the fact of what they've been doing? Notice I found out that Cuba, I think it is, has a vaccine for lung cancer that's successful, and people get in trouble for going over there and getting it, that America will not bring here.
Well, cancer makes money.
Yeah.
If you're cured or dead, you're not making money.
Yeah,
you're not giving them any money.
So a third world basically country, a country that like they're not that well off. It's Cuba, and they put basically all their resources towards medical research of this stuff because they've come with not just once but a couple times they've brought some pretty cutting edge
and anything that
saving shit.
They don't push like, hey, don't like cancer feeds on sugar, like cut that out. They don't. You don't see any billboards about that or like take like, hey, in the winter months take vitamin D, like 'cause you're not getting as much sun. Like those should be health things they should be pushing first.
Yeah, I think I'm outside all day, every day. So I wonder if that affects me because I don't take vitamin D.
Well, if you're not wearing sunblock, your skin turns the sun into vitamin D.
Yeah, no, I never, sunblock?
Yeah, that blocks your skin's ability from doing it.
I will get the skin cancer. That's what they say. If you see my
shoulders
and back.
Like whenever they say like the sun's your enemy, it's like the sun gives life. Like,
yeah, definitely. The sun is... There's a lot more to that we don't know about that the sun's doing. Like with light, just light alone is... Well,
just the fact, like, to me, as far as, like, the sun's 300 times bigger than the moon, but this is 300 times further away, so they can go right in front of each other and line up perfectly.
That's another statistical fact that they haven't really been able to find that's replicated anywhere else. Yeah. Just all these things that prove that kind of point towards artificially made.
Yeah, like it's cool that like,
it's definitely
it's interesting that like as far as either like artificially or like a creator kind of thing, like even if it is like you wouldn't be able to understand it no matter if it is a god or an alien species, like our brains can understand all that.
Right, yeah. That's the big theory that they've got. Like one physicist and astronomers go, for me to explain it to an average person, it can't. It's like we don't understand. Everything's a theory for one. We don't know what gravity, if gravity exists. We don't, everything's a theory because we don't really know what's out there and what
Even germ theory.
Yeah, like everything's a theory. We don't know what the space. We don't know if we're just an atom inside a bigger living organism. You know, we just don't really know.
We don't know how to use different. We don't know how to like fully be human in a way. Like we don't know how to use energy as far as like in a proper way. Like what are we expending our
and we can
time
mathematically we can prove that there's like other dimensions, I believe, and shit like that. That they've time travel and all that shit, which puts us into a point that a lot of people can't, which you really can't comprehend a lot of the shit that they can mathematically prove if they were able to apply that math to something. They'd have to create it and engineer it, but either way, if they haven't already, is the big thing.
In my head, whenever they start going like more than like 4 or 5 zeros, I'm like, I just tune out. I'm like, I'm never gonna need to know this. And it's like you talk whatever you want, you can say whatever you want. You can't predict like the next. You couldn't predict like 2020. You couldn't predict 9/11. It's like, so you could say whatever you want's gonna happen in a million years. But
well, actually, our government did predict 9/11. They knew that was about to. It was something was gonna happen. I mean, they definitely like. And then there was no reason for them like to introduce the Patriot Act because they had the information, but they just didn't use it. They just
the National Defense Authorization Act. I'm like, why aren't we in the streets fighting that? Like,
right?
Why are they renewing it every time? Every year it needs to be renewed. Like,
and it's a bipartisan. Like every single one of them's like, oh, let me go.
Let's go. Let's do. And then like what they've been doing, and like they've proposed in New York where they can detain anyone. Like they haven't passed it yet, but under like anyone they suspect of having a communicable disease, I think it's called. Like they're proposing it to the state senate.
And then what happens with all those people they get? What is that, workforce camps?
If you go on like the CDC website, they have shielding zones where the first level is for people who are highly at risk. They put in, and then the next level is for people who are barely at risk. Like you can check shielding zones or green zones on the CDC website. Like it's not anything official. It's their plans. They call it. Like they're like it says like what's the shielding approach, and it explains it to you.
I'm going down with fucking guns are shooting.
Well, their thing is they want to separate you from like, can you survive in your house, or are you at risk to be in a community at all? And
bitch, I'll survive without you. Like,
but who makes that decision?
Me. I got enough property to take care. Like, I know how to farm. I know how to fucking. Like, that's one good thing about living in Carolina, growing up there. Is like we had FBLA in St. Louis. We had FFA that was real popular out there. You just joined 4-H club camp or whatever, and you get like a sheep or a cow that you raised for a show, and then you sold it and got to keep the money. And like they taught you how to shoot guns and farm and agriculture, which is cool now that I know, you know. But yeah, I've definitely got enough property to fucking to hold me and mine down.
Yeah, you don't need much to grow for your family.
And I got a plenty of meat source. There's a lot of deer. I just need to learn more solar, which I look into. Like, there's certain times I'll be like, all right, I really need to figure this whole thing out. Because I could build my own system and buy the Tesla power walls or try to figure out how to build one of those. My brother-in-law is a electrician and can build all that. Like, he's pretty fucking smart. He's a whiz. I'm just like, do it, and I'll smoke you down, bro. He's geeky, but he's fucking cool ass dude. Really good people. So what do you got? You got any shows coming up? You doing the Red Flag or anything?
Oh, right now I've been focusing on like I'm moving and starting a new job, so like I've been focused on getting everything in order as far as that.
Yeah, I hear you. I have been just started with this new builder and everything. We did these huge houses now. Like I'm talking, the one we just finished is 9,000 square feet. They did Jim Evans' 19,000 square foot house. Like huge fucking houses. Like this is 2,000 square foot.
Is that in Illinois?
No, it's out in Ladue. Where's that? We do a lot of ones out in Ladue, Brentwood. Those big ass mansions.
There's some Cardinals player. I drove by once and someone said it was their place in Illinois. I was like, it might have been him. I saw, but no.
When's the last time you performed?
I would say middle of December.
Oh wow.
That was like, right now it's like, I stopped working on the 29th of December.
Are you restaurant?
Nah, warehouse.
Warehouse.
And like, I mean, they pushed the mask mandate in the warehouse, and like I turned in some paperwork that said like, okay, the civil rights says that you can't force a medical device on me, which is a mask. My employer can't, or they can't enforce a medical examination, which is like checking your temperature or a test, because they brought in the facial recognition temperature thing. I said my civil rights said you can't do these things to me without a physician present or my informed consent. And I gave them the paperwork, and then it said, if I do wear a mask, does your insurance cover me if I have any of these like symptoms, like as far as bacterial infection, if I pass out, if I die, organ failure, am I compensated? Does your insurance cover all that? And then so I gave them 21 days to respond. And like, so they just told me like they let me use all my vacation days, and I got paid that. And then when I moved down here, I put in my resume in a place, and they called me, and they're like, yeah, we want you to come in for an interview. And I did, and they hired me on the spot. Yeah. And it was like 3 miles from my new apartment. They're like, you don't have to wear a mask here. And more money. And after 90 days, they pay for the employee insurance. So
yeah. For people that can't find a job right now, I don't know what unless you're a restaurant. I don't know what's going on. You may need to look into a new little trade for a little while besides restaurant. You guys bartended and cooked for a long time.
Well, my whole thing is just like I've done a lot of like skilled jobs, so it's like my resume is pretty good.
Yeah.
And it's not, but like for me it was like I think masks should be optional. I don't think I think it's, if you really think the virus is that deadly, you shouldn't be in public to begin with, and you should be like, I think you should be compensated financially for your lost time. But as far as like, I just don't think like you should force anything on it.
I just the mask thing has only affected me when we've wanted to go out to dinner or something like that. Or go grocery shopping, shit like, and we don't even go do that. We could fucking order it on the phone, and they put it in our car for us. So, I mean, it hasn't affected me all that much. So besides at the comedy clubs, and that's something I want to do, which means I have to follow these people's rules, whatever.
Yeah. See, I just don't want to go that far. Like the last show I did, they made a mask thing, and I wrote an acronym. It's a CUNT. And I was like, you might think this is cunt, but it really stands for can't understand normal thinking. It's to raise awareness for retards. And that was just my opening joke about it. And I was like, that's the only reason I wore one, was just to do that joke.
I did a little bit of I said if they keep up with the mask, I was just going to become a ventriloquist.
Well, and it's funny with my girlfriend, because she won't, like, I'll wear that cunt mask if we go into the store together, and she's just like, no, I'll just go in for you now. And so it's gotten, and like, I tried to make a joke because I was trying to like get a feel on where like people are with it. I was like, these anti-maskers should have their own drinking fountain and have to sit in the back of the bus. And like no one would laugh at it. And I was like, okay, so you guys aren't ready to dehumanize those people yet.
Yeah, the whole, like, seeing people still go into like Walmart and get recorded, like flipping out. It's like,
yeah, that's what my thing is. Like, I'm never gonna cause a scene.
Like as a private, as somebody that would want to own his own company, a rule is a rule. If you want to if you want their product, if you want to use their services,
that's the whole thing of like, if you want to do it, you got to do it yourself. If you don't want to follow their rules, and that's the whole freedom versus nice things.
Well, I mean, so everyone. There's always been the ability to not barter and trade with. Even when it was all first started, someone can say, no, I don't want to give you this fur for that grain. And as far as in America, breaking it down to the simplest form. So that's kind of what capitalism is in a way. And like me building something, or let's say I offer a product, you want the product. I say you have to do this to get the product. You're like, I don't want to do that. Well, then you don't want the product. Like, and same vice versa.
That's just, it's like,
and that's how I just look at it. It's like I kind of want because I could go somewhere else and buy milk and eggs. Probably, I don't have to wear my shit at the store down the road. They're just more expensive.
Yeah, but if you want more natural things, like that's what I'm trying to go towards as far as moving out of the city is.
Yeah, the city gets you eat any time of the night, and like bad like junk food. That's the best thing about out here. We have to have everything planned, So
that's where I'm getting to as far as like my new job. I'll learn how to like they have to filter water, like make it pure H2O. So like
that's
learning
cool.
that.
Yeah,
like,
that's that cannabis scanner. It also does water, and it tell you like it scan the water and tell you everything.
Cool.
And stuff. I have a reverse osmosis system.
They have shit like that there where they make it just pure, and they like have drinking water and like the clean with. So like I was like that would be nice to have clean like purified water all the time.
Yeah, mine's a small home system that was it's very slow, and I left it. It got left outside with water, and it cracked one of the glass things, so I got to replace that. But I don't even use it anymore. So right now. I don't have no need for it. I'm on a well. Our well was tested before we moved in. It's all legit. Yeah, that's like I just need solar, and then like I've got a little plot back there that I've.
You can get a few chickens and.
Yeah, that's what I told her. I was gonna give me a couple chickens because I got a pen right back there. I don't know about a goat yet. If I'm gonna do anything, I want some. And the world's going to fucking shit. I want a cow to butcher to get some steak while I watch it all burn.
Oh. Like if you look through history, they never do it all at once. It's always in pieces.
Yeah, it's a very slow erosion.
Yeah, it's from the inside out.
Yeah. And you just gotta think it comes down to money. Money rules all. Like our money has been going longer than any other fiat currency has ever gone. Like,
well, and it's hard to talk people into certain like facts as far as because like. The realities are like, do you see reality from your inside out or from the like? Are you just getting all your information from the screen and you're not using any of like your instinct and like gut feeling for it? And it's like all those people who are reacting that see a different reality.
Like they have no more imagination. That's one thing I think. I guess people would say I was conspiracy there because I can watch one and just be like that. Use my imagination stuff like that'd be fucking nuts.
Well, I always see there's some truth in it.
There's maybe somewhere, but there are some crazy ones out there.
Yeah, even the crazy ones. There's like the Alex Jones types. Like there's some truth and there's like 10 to 15% truth, and then he's like 85% insane.
Well, the last time he was on Joe Rogan, they fact checked that motherfucker on every single thing, and that bitch was damn near right on down to the percentages and shit.
Well, he can recite numbers, but like all the crazy shit, like
yes, they fact checked every single crazy fucking thing he was talking about, and there was like 3 or 4 that he couldn't, and that was just so crazy. And Joe Rogan was like, that's why you can't censor it because I fact checked it all. Like Jamie was back there with like 10 computers because you know how he rants, and he was just like fact check, and Joe Rogan kept stopping him. Is there any fucking substance to that? And they'd be like, and Jamie will read a fucking approved real legit record or article.
He's such a cunt of a person, and it's like you can't like it's hard to listen
that's
to.
That's all his show.
Like
I think he's funny.
Like his show pushes like fear and.
Oh yeah, like, today I guess I remember Alex Jones back. I guess I only watched Alex Jones when he was like the younger. Kind of the Bohemian Grove kind of thing that he was like that was funny. That was not funny at all, but it was like, oh shit, this crazy dude is like he's uncovering some shit, and then he just went down.
He's always making it seem like tomorrow's the end instead of like, oh no, they just slowly erode you like with porn, like when Israel invaded Palestine. Whenever they took over their communication network, the only thing they broadcasted was porn.
What?
Yeah, whenever the Palestinian people were watching TV, all they could see is porn.
That's kind of awesome.
Yeah, so it's like it's used as a weapon.
Yeah, and I mean
that's
we
part
use
of
ours
like
today too. Like
as a sterilization thing.
Hollywood is like owned by fucking CIA. Like pretty much, there's so many different studios.
And like porn's free. It's like there's a quote like the reason the mouse gets caught in the trap is because he doesn't realize why the cheese is free. And it's like, oh, like nothing that good should be that free. Like as far like
the porn is an issue, and it's gonna be. It's getting. You can go on
And
porn site and see
people are jerking themselves into asexuality, where it's like, oh, I jerk off 4 times a day. It's like, well, you got nothing left. Like, of course, you're not interested in anything.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I've done my fair share of spanking to some porn, but
Oh yeah, that's why I say like, don't listen to me as far as morality, and I'm
Yeah.
not preaching morality.
But no, I've always thought like I can definitely see from when I was younger, to today, it's definitely changed. Like,
that's what I'm like looking at it, and like the things that are on there, like as far as like incest.
Yeah,
like all this
incest is like taking over the fucking
as far
shit.
as like what they're pushing.
Like, I think I looked it up because I used it in a joke, and it went up like the year I wrote the joke. It was 1,200%. The searching for incest porn had gone up, and it was like, holy shit.
So if you look at people who are like directing like where society's going, who have influence over it, and they see shit like that, what do they think of us?
Yeah.
And they're just jerking off the incest porn and like what everything else that they're doing nothing.
Yeah, well, that's what. Just think of when they're taking over the world, and they're the ones running shit.
Yeah.
They're gonna be too busy jerking off to their sisters. Yeah, no, I've wrote a bunch of different little bits. I just could never really put it together well enough. I'd have the one joke. It's like incest porn has surged over 1,200%, which means I'm sitting on a gold mine with all my old family videos. And like, that's pretty much all I was able to tie into there.
I had a friend who liked incest porn. It was a stepsister porn, but he didn't have a stepsister, and I was like, that's somehow worse.
Yeah, well, it's just that taboo kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
it's like I get if there's like a fantasy involved, but like you
don't even have a sister.
You don't have a stepsister.
You don't even have parents, man.
Like who's in that fantasy? But like it's just weird as you like hear the Overton window. As far as like pushing an idea, they like slowly ease it in, and that's kind of like how I see like porn, like as far as what the topics are.
I see that as in news media and politics all the time, like the repetitive same word, like how they just hammer a word in and they repeat it over and over. There's words there's key words that are triggering people, and it's not trigger words like these. Like the words like fag and retard and so no, it's like
socialism, like,
and
patriots.
You just every month or every couple of months there's this new word that they're constantly pushing.